costly repairs or upgrades. No worries with Mark Dietl, the only real estate agent I trust to sell my house. And he guarantees your home sold at an agreed upon price and deadline, or he's going to buy it. How about Brandy in Indianapolis? She had an investment property and needed to sell, but she was certain she had missed a boat on top dollar. She hired Mark Dietl, and he assured her that his team would get it done, and he was right. Had Brandy's home sold in 2 days for top dollar. Super easy, and Brandy's very happy.
Mark Dietl guarantees your home sold or he'll buy it. Let that sink in for a minute. Call Mark Dietl today and ask about this amazing guarantee. He'll answer any questions that you have. 317-755-4232. That's 755-4232. Or go to markdietl.com. That's Mark, D-I-E-T-E-L, markdietl.com. Tell him Hammer and Nigel sent you.
My name is Ainsley Flannery, and I am the Eastside Volunteer Coordinator for Agape Therapeutic Riding Center, and I nominated Ava Courtney for Jiffy Lube's Drive to Do More Award.
And I'm Jiffy Lube owner Steve Sanner. At Jiffy Lube, we are proud to support Hoosier charities that use their vehicles to do more to make Indiana a better place to live.
I'm Ava Courtney. The main thing I enjoy is serving at the barn, being with the horses, and serving my community. By receiving a year's worth of vehicle maintenance, it allows me to continue coming here and can rely on my local Jiffy Lube to make sure my car is running properly.
Jiffy Lube of Indiana provides all of our Do More winners with free vehicle maintenance for a year. Because now at Jiffy Lube, our trained technicians do more to keep vehicles like theirs and yours on the road. Brakes, tires, batteries, and more, as well as Indiana's favorite oil change since 1985.
Jiffy Lube accepts competitors' coupons, so you don't have to choose between saving a few dollars versus treating your vehicle to Jiffy Lube's award-winning service. Click on JiffyLubeIndiana.com for a Jiffy Lube near you.
Hey, Casey.
Yeah.
How would you feel if you lost out on $111,000 in retirement income?
Probably not great.
Yeah, so get this. 96% of Americans lose out on an average of $111,000 in Social Security income. And it's because they claim their benefits at the wrong time. Hey, it's Kendall and Casey.
Learn how you can avoid this with a free Social Security analysis from Bill Dummery, your retirement guy right here in Indy. If you've saved at least $200,000 and have not filed for Social Security, schedule your free analysis now by calling 317-932-9912. This free, customized analysis shows you exactly how to get the most out of your Social Security benefits, and it won't cost you a dime. Call 317-932-9912. That's 317-932-9912.
For the first time ever since opening its doors, the Indianapolis Men's Clinic is now the only men's health organization offering an intimacy guarantee. That's right. If you don't perform, you don't pay. You heard that right. Restoring intimacy is important to everyone. Helping men with a proven solution is what drives success. That's why the Indianapolis Men's Clinic stands by their intimacy guarantee. Now you will have the assurance and confidence of proven outcomes without the fear of financial loss. By using the latest technology for the treatment of ED, acoustic wave therapy uses pressure waves to open existing blood vessels, which restores spontaneity and intimacy for you and your loved one. Stop trusting companies that feed you empty promises with no results. Trust an intimacy guarantee. Trust the Indianapolis Men's Clinic. Call the Indianapolis Men's Clinic today. 317-999-9000. That's 317-999-9000 or IndianapolisMen'sClinic.com.
Skyworks Equipment Rental of Indianapolis has immediate openings for experienced parts coordinators, heavy equipment mechanics, CDL drivers, and outside sales reps. Full-time with medical, disability, PTO, 401k, and more. Apply today at skyworksllc.com/jobs. Skyworks, building America from the ground up.
You're listening to the Hammer and Nigel Show.
Are you a bracket guy, a March Madness bracket filler outer for money?
I am a bracket filler outer. I'm an individual game better. I'm a joker, a midnight toker, whatever you want to say.
So have you filled out a bracket for money, though? Are you in some sort of pool?
Yes, I put in $20, got into a pool, and I'm in it to win it.
Well, just a reminder, I hate to be the bearer of bad news. It's basically impossible to fill out a perfect tournament bracket. It's never been done, and a mathematician says it's more likely that a family of 4 will be struck by lightning separately in their entire lifetimes. And
So not just one person.
Yeah, no, 4 people of the same family.
All struck individually
Yes.
in their lifetime.
The odds of finishing with a perfect bracket, guessing all the games correctly is what I'm talking about. It's 1 in 120 billion.
So you're telling me there's a chance? Come on, Kennesaw State.
If you're a non-fan, okay, so that's a no, but that number right there, 1 in 120 billion, that's assuming you kind of know something about college basketball, pay attention to it, and considering how all the teams are seeded. If you're not a fan who just would do what my wife does and guess based solely on their mascot or the color of the uniforms, the odds are 1 in 9.2 quintillion.
And the thing is,
guess correctly.
It's people like that that usually win the office pools, right? Because whoever would have some of these upsets, these ridiculous upsets that inevitably happen in the tournament,
they don't get it. They don't get it perfect, but just they're picking at random, or how good looking their head coach is, or something like that.
Somebody's got a nephew that goes to one of these lower schools that shocks the world and makes an amazing run. It's crazy. All the people to fill out brackets, and it's a big deal. It's a big business. No one has ever submitted the perfect bracket. I think the closest that it ever came was back in 2019.
Yeah, I thought somebody did.
They came close. They got the first 49 games of the tournament correct.
Oh, wow.
There's 63 games total. But this person made an amazing run back in 2019. First 49 games correct, but it's impossible,
Who
man.
do you have in the Final Four?
Man, unfortunately, I have Alabama because I'm a Tennessee Vols fan and I hate Alabama, but they're really, really good. I know there's a lot of drama surrounding that team. They may or may not have been involved in a Grizzly homicide, but damn it, they're really good.
You talk about the player that brought the gun to the other guy that used it to kill his girlfriend.
Right. There was a teammate who had a friend
he's like
that murdered somebody.
Yeah, he's the best player on the team. Right?
The star player may or may not have had a hand in bringing the weapon to the scene. It's a long story. But Bama's really good. So I've got them in the Final Four. I've got Texas coming out. I believe I have, is it Gonzaga? I don't have the bracket in front of me. Gonzaga and Duke, unfortunately.
Oh.
I think Purdue can make a run. Purdue's second-round matchup scares me a little bit. If they can get through that second-round matchup, I think Purdue's going to have a pretty good chance.
When do you have IU exiting the tournament?
In the round of 16. I've got them winning the first 2 games.
Okay.
But I've got them getting beat in the round of 16.
The internet has blessed us with a list of 49 of the funniest movie insults of all time.
Okay.
I've grabbed a few of them from 4 different decades. They break them down into decades. Now,
movie insults.
Movie insults. We're not going to have time to get to them all, but I want to see if you can name the movie that they came from. This first one is from the 1970s. Again, this is 49 of the funniest movie insults of all time. Here's one from the 70s.
Your mother was a hamster, and your father smelt of elderberries.
I fart in your general direction.
That's Monty Python. Now, I don't know the exact name of the movie, but it's Monty Python,
Life
right?
of Brian. Or Holy Grail.
Is that what it is?
Holy Grail, yeah.
Okay. They all kind of get together with me, but I recognize the voices.
Now, again, there's several on this list from the different decades, but I just they pulled a few here. Here's one of the funniest movie insults from the 80s. Can you name the movie?
Does Barry Manilow know that you raid his wardrobe?
Oh, that's a home run. That's a Bender. Bender at the Breakfast Club.
I'll throw a curveball at you. Here, one of the funniest movie insults from a 90s movie. Here you go. Name the film.
You are a sad, strange little man, and you have my pity.
Oh, that's Buzz Lightyear.
Toy Story.
Toy Story, yeah.
I don't know if I consider that one of the funniest movie insults from the 90s.
No.
I mean, there's a
All
lot
mine would be really vulgar.
Yeah. There's some good Revenge of the Nerds ones. I don't have the whole list in front of me. I just wanted to take some time. So our final clue here of the funniest movie insults. This is from the 2000s. I'll go ahead and give you. This is actually from 2007. See if you can name the movie.
Your face looks like Robin Williams' knuckles.
Your face looks like Robin Williams' knuckles.
I don't know that one.
Knocked Up.
Oh, with Seth Rogen. Is it not?
Yeah, and
got his name?
Katherine Heigl.
Yes. Yeah. I never would have got that. I've seen that movie. It's not bad, but I never would have got that one right. But yeah, it feels like there's some angrier ones that we could have came up with.
There's a ton of them. Yeah, those are just a few. That's all we had time for. So.
Like Steve Martin in Planes, Trains, and Automobiles when he's trying to get the rental car. Yeah. Like, that's got to be on there somewhere.
It's probably a line or two from Billy Madison.
Right?
We are dumber for having just sat through what, that line.
It's the Hammer and Nigel show.
Mom, Dad, Sis?
Here we go again.
Why are you in a suit? Picture, if you will, a world with the best network imaginable. I'm talking about the Xfinity 10G network. Go on. Mom, remember how your reality shows wouldn't load with all of us online? Now you can binge. And Susie, we'll have fast internet in the basement.
Nice.
If you have any questions, here's my card.
This is just your name on a gum wrapper.
Introducing the 10G network only from Xfinity. The future starts now. Now through March 21st, new customers can get 200 megabit Xfinity internet during our limited time Xfinity 10G network launch celebration for just $25 a month for 2 years. Plus, there's no annual contract required and you get Wi-Fi equipment included. Go to Xfinity.com/10G, call 1-800-XFINITY, or visit a store today. Requires paperless billing and autopay with stored bank account. Restrictions apply. Taxes and fees extra. After promo, regular rates apply to internet service and devices. Actual speeds vary.
Are you dealing with foot, knee, hip, or back pain? Well, it sounds like you could use a spring in your step. Hi, this is Phoebe with the Good Feet store, and I've got just the thing to help you spring forward into comfort. Good Feet's unique, patented 3-step arch support system is designed to reduce pressure on your joints to keep you feeling energized all day long, even when you're running on an hour's less sleep. With less pressure on your joints, you'll also experience less pain and discomfort too. When you visit the Good Feet store, we'll take time with you to figure out what you need on your free personalized fitting. You can also take all the time you need to walk in-store to feel the Good Feet difference personalized for your feet, your shoes, and your lifestyle. Most of our customers say they feel relief immediately, and you can too. Make your appointment today at goodfeet.com. Don't just live with the pain. Discover your options and spring into comfort at the Good Feet store. Come in today for your free personalized fitting and test walk. We're in your neighborhood. Visit goodfeet.com to find the location nearest to you.
It can be dangerously easy to steal your identity during tax season because so much sensitive info is all together.
Before we start the annual meeting of Sean's personal info, has anyone seen Social Security number?
Not me.
Nope.
Nuh-uh.
Oh no. He's been stolen.
LifeLock by Norton makes it easy to help protect yourself. If you become a victim, we'll work to fix it. No one can monitor all transactions, but you can save up to 25% off your first year with promo code NEWS at LifeLock.com. Identity theft protection starts here.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level. On the go.
A project in jeopardy. 48 degrees, sunny downtown. All clear on your radar. The low tonight is 34. I'm Harrison Silcox. Here's what's trending at 3:30. For nearly 4 years, the Wilshire Hotel project has sat unfinished across the street from the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Speedway Town Manager Grant Kleinhen says the town has offered a loan to help out the developers.
We have proposed loaning them a $2.5 million loan from our TIF district, from the surplus we have in our tax increment finance district, to assist in construction.
But that loan was not approved by the town council Monday night, and it would be dependent on the developers getting their main funding. Kleinhen says it's possible the hotel may never be finished. You don't always hear about Republicans and Democrats working together, but that's what Indiana Senator Todd Young is doing. He's working with Ben Cardin, a Democrat out of Maryland, on a bill to revitalize housing in distressed neighborhoods.
Whether you're a Republican or Democrat, liberal or conservative, you drive through areas, maybe you live in an area where where there is a whole lot of blight that tears down property values.
Young talking to Fox News about the Neighborhood Homes Investment Act, which he believes will make improving homes in rough neighborhoods more affordable. He doesn't want to stop with Norfolk Southern. Fox's Grinnell Scott reports.
Senator Chuck Schumer says he is asking the NTSB to investigate all freight railroad companies labeled as Class 1, having operating revenues of more than $457 million. That means carriers such as CSX and Union Pacific would fall under the probe. Senator Schumer says his concern is, despite Norfolk Southern's recent issues,
Norfolk Southern isn't the only rail company that has spent years lobbying to loosen regulations, neglect safety upgrades, and lay off workers.
Schumer said the appearance of putting profits over people's safety is what he sees as a trend that must be investigated. Grinnell Scott, Fox News.
A beer popsicle is now a thing you can buy. Coors Light announced Tuesday the Coors Sickle, which is a non-alcoholic beer-flavored popsicle, and it's only going to be available this month in honor of the NCAA basketball tournament, because college basketball and frozen beer are just meant to be enjoyed together. Traffic and weather is next. It's 3:32.
Do you get sinus infections, congestion, sinus pressure and pain, above your eyes, below your eyes, sinus headaches? You've gone to the doctor, you've visited urgent care over and over again, and it's always the same thing. I know. Let's try antibiotics and nasal sprays. But the sinus infections keep coming back. The good news? Relief is possible. How? A minimally invasive procedure done in the office of Indianapolis Sinus Center called balloon sinuplasty. Imagine the relief of not having to deal with your sinus infections anymore. Set an appointment today with Indianapolis Sinus Center and find out if balloon sinuplasty is the solution for you. Call 317-528-9650. 317-528-9650. That's 317-528-9650.
With traffic at 3:33, here's Matt Bear.
Harrison eastbound 70 has toughened up here in the last few minutes. It is now stop and go from Harding Street to Meridian, Illinois. East side southbound 465 slows up after 70 down to 74. And inbound 65 starting to jam West Street to the north split. Traffic sponsored by Royal Spa. Everyone knows that soaking in Epsom salts can make you feel better. Now imagine soaking in Epsom salts in a Royal Spa hot tub. RoyalSpa.com. Royal Spa. I'm Matt Bear. Follow us on Twitter for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
And the forecast from the American Standard Heating Weather Center.
Fantastic day out ahead of us. Our high temperatures top out near 50 with a mostly sunny sky. Lows will bottom out in the mid-30s, and we're in store for a few afternoon showers during the day on Thursday with highs in the mid-50s. I'm Wish TV, Storm Track 8, Stephanie Meade for 93 WIBC.
And I'm Harrison Silcox on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
Listen to the Hammer and Nigel Show.
You know, one of the worst things about the border crisis in the South, Biden's border crisis, that is, you know, besides the drug trafficking that's resulted in the deaths of literally hundreds of thousands of Americans with fentanyl, the human trafficking, the deaths of the border crossers that happen as a result of maybe trying to come across a river or getting stuck in a semi, like, you know, the story of the 53 migrants that were in the back of a semi. But you know, all of that being said, on another level, one of the scariest things is all the gotaways that come through the border. That gotaways are people that are spotted with other forms of surveillance, but they aren't captured. They're spotted crossing the border, but they aren't captured. We have no idea who they are or what they're doing here. There's a reason why people are crossing, these border crossers are crossing, and doing it in a somewhat of a formal basis, like because they get fingerprinted, they get a court summons most times and says, hey, come back, you know, but there's a reason why these gotaways don't want to be fingerprinted when they're apprehended by Border Patrol agents. It's because they're predators, they're criminals, they're gang members. And hundreds of thousands of border crossers, a.k.a. gotaways, have been pouring through this border.
And when you try to get the Democrats to have a rational conversation about this, because this shouldn't be a Republican-Democrat issue. Safety at the border should be bipartisan, but it's not. And a textbook example is what happened today. So the Republicans, they have the majority in the House. They now have the House Homeland Security Committee, and they had a hearing down by the border. A couple Democrats had scheduled to be a part of this. They booked their airfare. They had booked their hotels. They had planned to be there until the higher-ranking Democrat said, you better not go to that hearing.
Don't you dare.
Don't you dare go to that border meeting, which is disgusting because we're talking about drugs and people's lives coming across the border, and the Democrats' response is kind of like that scene in Dumb and Dumber where they're all sitting in the front seat of the truck, and Harry's telling Lloyd, you can't double stamp, and Jim Carrey's got his fingers in his ears, la, 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 la. That's what the Democrats are doing about the border conversation today. They would rather book airfare and hotel rooms and then decide not to show up than have to look at the problem and address the problem. So today, they missed out on the testimony from United States Border Patrol Chief Raul Ortiz.
Why would they want to miss out on that?
He testified as a federal witness, so this is all on the record. They could ask all the questions that they want.
Under oath.
Under oath, the Republicans, of course, they asked their questions. Now, Chief Ortiz was asked if they had control of the border. Now, we're going to play you his answer, and then we're going to play you what DHS Secretary Mayorkas said just a couple weeks back.
Chief Ortiz, does DHS have operational control of our entire border?
No, sir.
So by what measure is it secure now, sir? So there is not
this
a
is
common
Mayorkas.
definition of that. If one looks at the statutory definition, the literal interpretation of the statutory language, if one person successfully evades law enforcement at the border, then we have breached the security of the border. So what we try to do,
What's your definition?
What our goal is to achieve operational control of the border.
I don't know. It seems like to me that Mayorkas just admitted, yeah, we don't have operational control of the border. Our goal is operational control of the border.
Right.
But even if one person slips by, we don't have operational control of the border, which is interesting. I mean, so it seems to confirm what the Border Patrol Chief Ortiz said.
It confirms and it contradicts at the same time. It's bizarre because Mayorkas wants you to believe we got a handle on this. We believe that we've got control, and people get through. Maybe we don't sometimes, but we've got a plan in place. And you clearly heard Chief Ortiz right there. The answer was no, sir. There wasn't some if, and, but, candy or nuts, none of that kind of stuff. It was a straight up no, sir. So that kind of got this hearing rolling today. But then they got to the gotaways. You pointed this out earlier, Nigel.
Yeah.
The number of gotaways this past year, unbelievable. And the number is probably higher than we're even hearing. Here is Chief Ortiz.
At 385,000 gotaways so far this fiscal year, we continue to refine that number.
Wow.
I've got to do a better job of accounting for the actual encounters.
Chief, I have limited time. I just need a number. What percentage of the 1.3 that you know got away? How much more do you think got away that you don't know about?
In my estimation, based upon the situational awareness that I have, probably be between 10 and 20%, sir.
More?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, again, these are illegal immigrants running from Border Patrol that are surveilled, with other types of cameras, infrared, but they're not caught, and they're smuggling fentanyl, and they're predators, they're gang members, they're traffickers. We have no idea who they are or what they're doing in this country. So at last glance, I saw 1.2 million gotaways during the Biden administration so far. That number has at least increased a few 100,000 to 1.3, 1.4 million people.
And you wonder why the drug crisis is as bad as it is. You don't know who these people are, what their background is, what they're doing. But it's weird. We have a fentanyl crisis in this country.
Strange, isn't it?
It's weird how that works out. So while the Democrats did not show up to the border meeting, some of the Democratic supporters sure did show up last night to protest on the campus of UC Davis because conservative speaker Charlie Kirk was scheduled to do a speech there. Now, he's with Turning Point USA, which is this conservative group that mainly caters to like college students, high school students, getting them involved in the political process. It's a conservative outlet.
He has a giant podcast. It's a pretty big name in conservative circles.
So Charlie Kirk scheduled to speak at UC Davis last night.
Let me guess, he was greeted with open arms. Free speech. First Amendment, right?
If by open arms and free speech you mean Antifa protesters smashing the doors and windows of the location of a speech, you would be correct.
Jeez. There's your bloodthirsty Biden voter right there, shutting down free speech, no matter what the costs, violence, vandalism, and just because they disagree with the speaker that has been hired to speak on that campus.
So their options were to not show up, not buy ticket sales, and ignore Charlie Kirk, or show up and break all the windows of the university where some of these people still go to school. Now, this was a straight-up Antifa rally, so I bet there's not a lot of folks that actually go to the university. These were probably professionals that were brought in
They're
here.
always bust in.
But I don't know about you, Nige. That sounds a little insurrection-y to me right there. Like they're trying to take over the university and smash all the windows.
Well, certainly if they were trying to overthrow, like, say, a police precinct or something like that they were trying to do in 2020, like a government institution or authority for sure. But it sounds to me like, yeah, it was mostly peaceful, actually. I mean, let's just,
right.
You know what? They were mostly peaceful Antifa protesters. They were there to make their voices heard and destroy a bunch of private property.
Just like 2020.
Yeah.
Nora O'Donnell of CBS, back us up on this.
The protests in late spring were mostly peaceful, but damage from looting and arson will cost $1 to $2 billion in claims. That's according to the Insurance Information Institute.
The peaceful, tolerant left, ladies and gentlemen. More fallout from the bank failures in Silicon Valley and New York. Listen to the speech earlier today. This is Louisiana Rep. Senator John Kennedy. He's one of our favorites.
Love Kennedy.
In terms of sound bites, this dude is one of our favorites.
So the president says that's a safe bet. Except when you read the fine print, you find out that the securities that the banks put up as collateral to borrow money from the American people are not what's called mark to market. The securities are not put up at their real value. They're put up at the value for what at the time they were purchased. So if you bought a security that was, let's say, to make it simple, $20, and it's owned by a bank, and it's now worth $5, you give that $5 to the $25 billion fund, and you get credit for $10, but it's really worth only $5. I mean, it's a bailout. And I'm not going to bubble wrap it. And I don't think we ought to try to bubble wrap it to the American people.
And by the way, the American taxpayers aren't paying for this either. Just so everybody knows.
Okay. I think somebody yelled bullcrap from the studio audience here. That was Senator Kennedy earlier today on the Senate floor. Now, if you're wondering, why does that guy sound familiar? Senator Kennedy brought us this beautiful speech.
It's very easy to tell a boy from a girl. A boy has a penis, a girl has a vagina.
Thank you, Senator Kennedy. I think it's the accent, right? The accent just makes him radio gold, baby. So what happens when the bank you work for goes belly up? Ex-SVB employees are seriously selling their company swag
I saw that
on eBay right
Yes.
now. People are buying their swag on eBay, so make sure you get the good stuff now before it runs out.
They say they're shopping day and night on eBay.
If you missed out capitalizing on the 2008 financial crisis, now you can own a piece of bank history.
Yeah, thanks to former employees trying to pay bills.
Silicon Valley Bank Memo Pad, $14.99. Silicon Valley Bank Ballpoint Pen, just $5. SVB Corporate Swag Patagonia Backpack, $75. Silicon Valley Bank Team Softball Jersey, $34.99. Or a Silicon Valley Bank Insulated Coffee Mug for just $18.99.
Nice.
Nothing says financial failure like selling your company gear and office supplies
on eBay.
Little show tunes for you. It's the Hammer and Nigel Show.
Storm season is coming, and storms in Indiana can be brutal. And your siding defends your home from the forces of the wind and the rain, so you want to make sure your home is protected with the best roofing and siding possible. You need Moss Roofing because they use high-quality James Hardy siding, and it withstands our Indiana weather. This fiber cement siding is strong and actually mimics traditional siding options. Moss Roofing installs James Hardy siding to help ensure your home's exterior is attractive for years to come. And Moss Roofing has got you covered in every way. They believe in honesty, integrity, and quality service, and they do great work right here in Central Indiana. Your roofing, your siding, insulation, all of it installed and priced perfectly with Moss Roofing. Contact Moss Roofing at mossroofing.com or call 317-747-3665. 317-747-3665 or online at mossroofing.com and tell them Tony Cat sent you. Your home is your sanctuary. Get the peace of mind you deserve with a free estimate on a Generac automatic standby generator for your home from Generator Supercenter, the nation's #1 Generac generator dealer. With expert installation and 24-hour monitoring, Generator Supercenter won't leave you in the dark. Financing is available. Take control of your power today with Generator Supercenter. Call 317-827-0808. Generator Supercenter of Indianapolis, 317-827-0808.
Pat Sullivan here. The floodgates are about to open in Indiana as spring approaches. Do you know if your sump pump is working properly? A sump pump is vital to protecting your home from heavy rains and rising waters that do nothing but leave damage in your home. During the month of March, my friends at Hope Plumbing will buy back your old sump pump for $300 with the purchase of an upgraded sump pump and a new battery backup system. Call Hope Plumbing today at 641-HOPE. That's 641-HOPE.
Tired of eating at the same old places? Try Jay's Lobster and Fish Market in the Garage Food Hall in the Bottle Works District, downtown Indy. Named one of Indianapolis Monthly's best restaurants in 2021. Jay's specializes in lobster rolls, but also serves up incredible crab and shrimp rolls. A New England-style seafood shack, bringing a taste of the East Coast home to Indiana. You've got to try it all. Lobster rolls, lobster mac and cheese, lobster grilled cheese, and more. It's all at Jay's Lobster and Fish Market. Visit today.
People everywhere are binge watching their money. Now streaming on Lake City Bank Digital. When checking Met Savings.
Together we make so much sense.
Also featuring Adventures of the Penny Pincher.
My journey has not been an easy one, but my budget is going to survive.
Watch new episodes of Your Money unfold every day on Lake City Bank Digital. Learn more at lakecitybank.com/digital. Member FDIC.
For the first time ever since opening its doors, the Indianapolis Men's Clinic is now the only men's health organization offering an intimacy guarantee. That's right. If you don't perform, you don't pay. You heard that right. Restoring intimacy is important to everyone. Helping men with a proven solution is what drives success. That's why the Indianapolis Men's Clinic stands by their intimacy guarantee. Now you will have the assurance and confidence of proven outcomes without the fear of financial loss. By using the latest technology for the treatment of ED, acoustic wave therapy uses pressure waves to open existing blood vessels, which restores spontaneity and intimacy for you and your loved one. Stop trusting companies that feed you empty promises with no results. Trust an intimacy guarantee. Trust the Indianapolis Men's Clinic. Call the Indianapolis Men's Clinic today. 317-999-9000. That's 317-999-9000 or IndianapolisMen'sClinic.com.
This week, it's 25% off all houseplants and houseplant accessories at Sundown Gardens in Westfield, 186th Street and Spring Mill Road, sundowngardens.com.
An $887 installed patio door and 20 months, no interest, no payments. Go to bwindow.com.
Trust me.
If you're up late night tonight, a little bit after 11 o'clock, our pal Phil Sanchez hosts the news on Wish TV 8. I'll be on with Phil during his newscast tonight, talking a little March Madness betting, so hopefully you can check that out tonight. But as of right now, Matt Bear, what's going on with the roads?
Yeah, we're looking at what's coming into downtown, and we are slow. Eastbound 70 Harding to Meridian, Illinois. Inbound 69 drags from 96, and on the east side, southbound 465 slows up after 70. Let's go around Washington. Crash Washington Street west of German Church. Somebody was T-boned, taken from the car. Traffic sponsored by B Windows. Celebrate B Windows' 40-year anniversary with 40% savings on all their products. Get 20 months, no interest, no payments, plus special offer of an $887 installed patio door. Trust me. I'm Matt Bear. Follow us on Twitter for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
Sunshine and 50 at the American Standard Heating Weather Center, and let's do a little booze news.
You set him up and I'll knock him back, Lloyd. One by one.
We are gonna read booze news because it's really fun.
Once it hits your lips, it's so good.
Nigel presents
Booze News, Booze News.
Yeah.
Time for Booze News. This is kind of dumb. And I'm a Coors Light drinker, too. Like, I could interchange Coors Light with Miller Lite, but those are my domestic light beers that I could drink. They just announced an alcohol-free, beer-flavored popsicle. I think Dickie V is doing commercials for them or something. And they're called Coors-sicles. And they're non-alcoholic. They taste like beer, but you still have to be 21 years of age or older to consume them.
So this is designed for like the designated driver that's going out for either St. Patrick's Day or March Madness, because those two coincide this Friday. So the designated driver who doesn't want to feel like they're missing out can get the taste of beer without the alcohol with the Coors-sicle.
Yeah, but if I'm at a bar, I'm not going to order a popsicle, a non-alcoholic popsicle. Maybe just, if I'm the DD, how about a club soda with a splash of lime or something like that, with the lime wedge.
Right.
Or something like that.
I'm not carrying around the popsicle in the bar.
I think I am the DD at the party we're going to this Friday.
Who made that poor decision? Who was the poor committee that came up with that decision?
We're having trouble finding a ride because it's St. Patrick's Day to this party. So, I'll suck it up, and then, maybe I can imbibe for March Madness on Saturday and Sunday.
So this is like a party that you're going out to, right, for St. Patrick's Day?
Yeah, it's in Carmel, yeah.
I told you the other day, you're too old for that.
I didn't disagree with you. I don't necessarily want to go.
Allison, female perspective here. He's 46 years old. He's got a wife and 2 kids. Isn't he too old to be going out to a party on St. Patrick's Day?
I mean, I'm a little worried about you.
Okay. It's going to be...
I'm worried that he's the driver. That's what scares the hell out of me. This is like the January 6th committee. Did they come up with this decision?
My wife is usually the one that has to be good. I'm going to do a favor for her. This is her friend's thing, her shindig. It's like an outdoor tent party with a ton of TVs and food and music and stuff. So I'll be good.
There's no way you're capable of being good.
Well, unless we can find a ride.
Why don't you just Uber?
Because the rates are sky high. The market changes on nights like this.
But you're going to be sky high. It's St. Patrick's Day. March Madness is going on. IU tips off late. There's no way
you might have a good idea
that you're going to be the DD.
You might have a point.
It's the Hammer and Nigel show.
Clearwater, Florida. Every day is a great escape. With 35 miles of white sand, there's no better place to get away. So let's explore the secluded beaches of Fort DeSoto or paddle our way around Honeymoon Island. Let's kick back, kayak, and catch crimson sunsets. Let's trade snow boots for bathing suits. Let's make today and tomorrow a beach day. Let's shine. Plan your escape at visitstpeteclearwater.com.
The guys from Galaxy Concrete Garage Floor came in and totally redid my garage floor, made it look brand new coating. They did it within a day. I left for work and came home. They weren't even there. My new garage floor is out of this world. What's interesting is they don't use epoxy. That was the old standard that the other guys use. What they use now is better. It's polyurea. It's the premium standard for coatings, and it's 4 times as strong. And it'll be ready to go within just 1 day after application. Go to Galaxy Concrete Coatings Facebook page. Scroll down. You can see the before and after photos of my garage, or give them a call. Set up an appointment, 751-9070.
My drinking was out of control. It was tearing my family apart and controlling my life. I had a choice, and I chose Landmark Recovery's addiction treatment program. They showed me a proven pathway to recovery. What will you choose?
Choose life. Choose Landmark Recovery. Visit landmarkrecovery.com to learn more.
Lanny went to college and racked up huge debt.
A little bit over $100,000.
For a degree he couldn't use? Now what?
I had a friend that went to my computer career and they talked to me about it.
He was done in just months.
I did do it online.
They even helped him get hired immediately after graduation.
One of the things I love about IT is that you can work from anywhere you want.
You could become an IT pro in just months with zero experience at My Computer Career.
It worked for me and I know it can work for you.
It's not rocket science. It's mycomputercareer.edu.
Skyworks Equipment Rental of Indianapolis has immediate openings for experienced parts coordinators, heavy equipment mechanics, CDL drivers, and outside sales reps. Full-time with medical, disability, PTO, 401k, and more. Apply today at skyworksllc.com/jobs. Skyworks, building America from the ground up.
Chapters of this story take a whole month to tell. This is May. It starts with twists and turns on the IMS road course for the GMR Grand Prix. Then PPG presents Armed Forces Indy 500 qualifying and the Firestone Fast 6 shootout. May continues with Indy's biggest party, Miller Lite Card Day. And all roads lead to the 107th running of the Indianapolis 500 presented by Gamebridge. This is where heroes become legends and legends become legendary. This is May. Buy now and save. Get tickets at IMS.com.
This time next week, I'll be sick in bed with West Nile virus, thanks to a mosquito bite right in front of my house.
In 8 minutes, my daughter will be in an ambulance, having an asthma attack, triggered by cockroaches.
I'm going to be bitten by a tick today. I won't even know it until Lyme disease turns my life upside down.
Learn how to protect your family at pestworld.org. A public service message from the National Pest Management Association and the CDC.
My name is Jamie Bowles, and I was diagnosed with non-small cell lung cancer in December of 2018. Nobody would even know looking at me that I have stage 4 lung cancer, and I'm grateful for biomarker testing for that. When I was sitting down with my oncologist, there was already state-of-the-art medication available that I was going to be put on right then and there. Ask your doctor how comprehensive biomarker testing before treatment may help you decide on the best treatment. Visit noonemissed.org to learn more.
A public service message from Longevity Foundation.
Your local news coming up after Fox News Radio from the Peterman Brothers Heating, Plumbing, and Electrical Studios. You're listening to 93 WIBC, WIBC HD1 Indianapolis. It's 4 o'clock.
A sell-off that's really a rally. Lisa Brady, Fox News. The Dow down more than 200 points at the closing bell, but it had been down more than 700 during the session as bank failure fear spread to Europe. The market's also assessing some new economic reports.
The Producer Price Index came out today, and it showed that inflation is easing on the things companies need to buy, and that's good news. Retail sales were released today, and that shows Americans are slowing down their spending more than expected. That's bad news. Now, when you mix in 2 banks that failed in the last week and talk of Credit Suisse close to failing, it means concerns and a big sell-off.
Fox Business's Edward Lawrence at the White House. Again, the Dow pairing much heavier losses and closing down close to 300 points. The NASDAQ actually bouncing into the green. President Biden says his plans are saving people money.
I signed a rescue plan that increased the coverage
and lowered prices for affordable health care, saving millions of people about $800 a year.
He's wrapping up a Western trip with a stop in Las Vegas. Republicans say his proposed budget doesn't prioritize national security. A federal judge in Texas hearing arguments on whether to put sales of an abortion pill on hold nationwide over safety concerns about misoprostol, used for years in the U.S. as the first of a 2-pill regimen to end a pregnancy.
Despite it being on the market almost a quarter century, a local group in Texas sued the FDA, arguing the drug can cause complications, and the approval was rushed in 2000. Now it's possible that this judge could issue a nationwide injunction temporarily stopping sales across the country, even in states where abortion is legal. Now, there's a second drug called misoprostol that's used after mifepristone. In other countries, it's the only medication but has serious side effects when taken alone.
Fox's David Spund at the Justice Department. America is listening to Fox News.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
They were caught a few years later. 50 degrees, sunny in downtown Indianapolis. All clear on your radar. Lows in the mid-30s tonight. I'm Harrison Silcox. Here's what's trending at 4:02. An Indiana couple from Brownsburg have been charged in the January 6th Capitol riots. Donnie Burgess reports.
Arthur and Jessica Rayer are accused of participating in the storming of the U.S. Capitol on January 6, 2021. The Department of Justice says the Indiana couple joined several groups of rioters in the tunnel areas, trying to push through police to get inside the Capitol. At one point, a police officer was pinned in between a shield and a door. The Rayers were arrested Wednesday in Indiana. Donnie Burgess, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
President Biden signed an executive order to have stricter enforcement on federal gun control laws, but not everybody thinks it's going to do good.
It's a solution searching for a problem and just compounding on laws already on the books.
Greg Berg, owner of Beech Grove Firearms Gun Shop, talking to Wish TV.
The government wants to be involved in every facet of the firearms transaction, and in my opinion, this is nothing more than a backdoor universal background check.
Along with enforcing background checks, the order also plans a public information campaign on gun safety. Indiana faith leaders are asking lawmakers to fully fund a bill that would have trained professionals respond when someone has a mental health crisis.
And we are here today in support of SB 1.
Dr. Carlos Perkins, pastor at Bethel Cathedral AME Church, at the State House Tuesday. The bill is through to the House. If approved, it would create mobile crisis counseling units who would be available for emergencies. If you have a teenager at home, they might be interested in picking up a job this summer. Sasha Nixon reports.
Childcare opportunities are usually abundant throughout the season as organizations look for young professionals to care for kids. And with the rise of online shopping and home delivery, companies are always looking for new drivers. Businesses around the state are also hoping to fill customer service roles, retail positions, and warehouse jobs. For some air-conditioned customer service opportunities, you might want to look into companies like Barnes & Noble, Books A Million, AMC Theaters, and local libraries. Learn more at WIBC.com. Sasha Nixon, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
You're 1 minute away from traffic and weather. It's 4:04.
Hey, Casey.
Yeah.
How would you feel if you lost out on $111,000 in retirement income?
Probably not great.
Yeah, so get this. 96% of Americans lose out on an average of $111,000 in Social Security income. And it's because they claim their benefits at the wrong time. Hey, it's Kendall and Casey.
Learn how you can avoid this with a free Social Security analysis from Bill Dummery, your retirement guy right here in Indy. If you've saved at least $200,000 and have not filed for Social Security, schedule your free analysis now by calling 317-932-9912. This free, customized analysis shows you exactly how to get the most out of your Social Security benefits, and it won't cost you a dime. Call 317-932-9912. That's 317-932-9912.
With traffic on the 5s at 4:05. What's going on, Matt Bear?
Harrison, northeast side crash on the ramp from eastbound 465 to northbound 69. The ramp is open. The right shoulder is blocked. And then we are looking at eastbound 70 stop and go traffic from Belmont to Meridian, Illinois. Crashes on East Washington Street, one at Sherman, and another west of German Church Road. That was a T-bone crash. Somebody had to be extricated from a vehicle. Traffic sponsored by Mattress Firm. It's the Big Spring Sale at Mattress Firm. Save up to $7 $700 today, plus get a free adjustable base with select purchases and spring into better sleep. I'm Matt Bear. Follow us on Twitter for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
And the forecast from the American Standard Heating Weather Center.
We'll see clouds increase tonight with lows only falling into the mid-30s. Thursday will start dry before we see numerous showers slide in after the lunch hour Thursday. Winds will become breezy as well with highs in the mid-50s. I'm Wish TV Storm Track 8 meteorologist Stephen Deanna for 93 WIBC.
And I'm Harrison Silcox on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
Hammer and Nigel.
Can you believe these characters are weirdos?
So let's rock it!
Jason Hammer's right over there. My name is Nigel. Let's not waste any time. Let's get into a little legal stuff.
Crime, punishment, judges, legal stuff.
Okay, so they finally put out an arrest warrant for the guy criminally charged in connection to that shooting outside Castleton Square Mall, left a 16-year-old kid dead. Was this the one where the kid accidentally opened up the wrong door, the wrong car?
Correct.
And the guy got out and chased him and shot him?
Fired shots from inside the car first. Allegedly. That's what he's being charged with. And the 16-year-old lost his life. And the person that he was with was like an older mentor who was the son of a pastor here in Indianapolis. They were there together in like a mentor program. He had to run for his life. Now, he lived.
An awful story, man.
This is a shame, and it's ridiculous that it took this long to get an arrest warrant out there. The Marion Superior Court number 29 issued a warrant, and we're going to say this person's name because technically he hasn't turned himself in yet. Clyde Michael Johnson of Indianapolis. A special prosecutor out of Madison County is seeking Johnson on charges of voluntary manslaughter, aggravated battery, and battery by means of a deadly weapon. So far, he has escaped the murder charge, and they're calling it voluntary manslaughter.
It means it, like when you kill somebody without premeditation.
Right.
Or after a provocation. I'm not saying that's what happened here in terms of the definition involving the word provocation. I'm still very confused as to what happened here. And the details from the pastor are correct. It's like the guy opened the wrong door. He thought they were going to another car.
Like right? All of us at one point or another have probably done that, right? You think you're parked in one spot, there's a car that's the same as yours or similar, and you try to open the door. Oh, crap, this isn't my car. But that happened in the parking lot of the Castleton Square Mall, and somebody on the inside started firing shots and then chasing people. At least that's according to the report. Now, keep in mind, this is a Marion County crime, but it's the prosecutor out of Madison County that's doing this because Ryan Mears, the Marion County prosecutor, recused himself. He has some sort of relationship with the gunman here. So Ryan Mears is not involved in this. He's recused himself, and it's the Madison County prosecutor who is seeking Clyde Michael Johnson to turn himself in for voluntary manslaughter, aggravated battery, and battery by means of a deadly weapon.
Involuntary, I would assume, means unintentional killing. But voluntary, I don't know which, I'm assuming voluntary manslaughter carries more a possibility of a longer prison sentence.
Speaking of special prosecutors, a special prosecutor who doubles as a state legislator is stepping down from her role in the manslaughter case against actor Alec Baldwin. This is in regards to the death of cinematographer Helena Hutchins on the movie set Rust, which was being filmed in New Mexico. Alec Baldwin's legal team in February sought to disqualify the special prosecutor and Republican state rep Andrea Reeb based on the constitutional provisions that safeguard the separation of powers between distinct branches of the government.
I don't know what you just said, but I know Alec Baldwin was charged with involuntary manslaughter, and I also know that this guy probably won't see a day inside of a jail cell. Right. Hell, he was even telling people he didn't pull the trigger. No, I wasn't the one that killed her. You were holding the gun.
These are not the droids you're looking for, like waving his hand in front of people. The former special prosecutor, who is also a state legislator, said in a statement, quote, that I will not allow questions about me serving as a legislator and prosecutor to cloud the real issues at hand. It's become clear that the best way I can ensure justice is served in this case is to step down so that the prosecution can focus on the evidence and the facts.
So this is all coming to a grinding halt, and this is good news for Alec Baldwin and his charges that he's facing.
And I also see where this special prosecutor and rep is coming from. You don't want it to be a technicality that lets this slime ball off. Now, let's be honest. There's a very good chance Alec Baldwin's totally going to get away with killing this woman. He is going to skate in regards to killing this woman. But you don't want the excuse to be, well, the prosecution was a Republican and had a bias against Alec Baldwin, who's a well-known Democrat, rabble, rabble, rabble. So they've just removed themselves from the whole conversation. Probably the best move.
You know, he's continuing, at least at last I heard, he's continuing to work on the set and pushing on with that film. Rust, again, is the name of the film that they were filming, and he, even though he's being officially charged with involuntary manslaughter, it's set to resume, if not already resumed, production. I don't know I don't know at that point, because I know he's a producer on the film as well. At that point, if I did something like that, and even if I didn't mean it, I'd be like, I'm closing up shop. Shut this one down.
Right. We'll take the financial hit here. Yeah. We're not finishing this movie.
No, we're pushing forward. We're going to finish the film. Doesn't that strike you as a bit bizarre that Alec Baldwin wants to finish the movie?
It seems cold-blooded, but look who's making the decision. Look at the guy that's making the decision. He killed a woman. Like, he can say that it was an accident or whatever. The fact of the matter is he killed this woman, and now the show must go on. It seems a little bizarre to me. Maybe I'm the only one.
You said it.
We're doing some legal stuff here. Dateline, Ohio. State of Ohio has filed a lawsuit against Norfolk Southern Railroad Company to make sure that it pays for the cleanup and the environmental damage caused by that train derailment that took place last month. This is according to the state's attorney general. The federal lawsuit also seeks to force the company to pay for groundwater and soil monitoring in the years ahead and economic losses that are going to happen in East Palestine and the surrounding areas as a result of this train derailment and toxic pollution that's taking over their community. Quote, the fallout from this highly preventable accident is going to reverberate throughout Ohio for many years to come. This is from the Attorney General from the state of Ohio. I think he's got a ball game here. I think he's got a point.
I think it was funny when old Mayor Pete Buttigieg, Pothole Pete, the transportation secretary, finally made the trip to East Palestine after 20 days. He's got the hard hat on and the protective eyewear and the neon vest and the work gloves, but everybody was making fun of the fact that he was wearing loafers which I don't care. I mean, it's pretty frivolous, but they did a whole news story on how Mayor Pete was upset and lashed out at critics who questioned his footwear during the Ohio visit, which, again, a little, whatever. But it's funny that he had to comment on it. Who cares about my footwear?
So it took him 20-plus days to get to Ohio, but he could comment on, fading his shoes right away.
He said that it was, quote, maddening that so much attention was drawn to the shoes.
What a joke.
I mean, I would probably tend to agree with him, but still I just think it's funny that
I don't agree with him at all. It takes you that long to get to Ohio. It took you that long just to speak about Ohio, but somebody bashes his shoes, and it's an all-points bulletin. There's a statement going out to every media outlet.
He made a statement. He said, quote, it's maddening. It was maddening that people were making fun of my shoes at the work site.
What a joke. This guy. Okay, Matt Baer, what's going on?
We're looking at eastbound That stop and go from Belmont to Meridian, Illinois. Inbound 65 stop and go West Street to the north split. And crashes Washington Street, east side, one at Sherman, another one west of German Church Road. And northbound 465 Lawrence slows after Penn Pike 275th. Traffic sponsored by Isaacs and Isaacs. If you've been injured in a car wreck, the team at Isaacs and Isaacs will fight to get you the money you deserve. Just click and get help quick. Go to WeWin.com. That's WeWin.com. I'm Matt Bear. Follow us on Twitter for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
Sunshine and 50 degrees at the American Standard Heating Weather Center. Coming up just over 30 minutes from right now, we will give you the result of yesterday's highly competitive Biden Madness matchup. And then we've got an all-new regional final for you today. That's coming up around 4:48. But next, my friends, America's fastest growing game sensation, Is This Anything?
So my truck needed new tires, but I was dreading having to sit in a tire shop for 3 hours. That's when I heard about AAA's new mobile replacement tire service, My Pit Crew. They come to your house or your office and replace new tires. You don't have to do anything. Just pick out your tires online at AAA.com/MyPitCrew, schedule an appointment, and then sit back and relax.
Yeah, I had the My Pit Crew swing by the Hammer House, and they let you pick the tire, they will put it on your car, and they will come to your house. You don't even have to be a AAA member to use My Pit Crew, but AAA members do get a discount on their My Pit Crew tire installation. Visit AAA.com/MyPitCrew to pick out the tires and schedule your installation, and then relax. Let them come to you. Don't spend another Saturday at the tire shop. Contact the My Pit Crew team today. Tell them Hammer and Nigel sent you.
Spring in Indy. And since 2001, Rhino Shield has been covering Indiana homes and businesses. Just ask Mike.
I was watching TV one night and saw the Rhino Shield ad, and I thought, well, if they can do a house, they can probably do a building.
And Rhino Shield's not paint, it's better.
So they came out and they gave me a price, showed me how the Rhino works, how it lasts, and how the guarantee works.
Business owners, you too can get the 25-year protection of Rhino Shield right now for 15% off the regular price.
They started on the building. They waited for us to leave, and they worked Saturday and Sunday so they wouldn't affect our business at all. This was the great part of it. I came back Sunday night, and you couldn't even tell they were here. There was no paint on the ground. They did a fantastic job.
Here's owner Shane Smith.
This offer is limited, so call me at 888-RHINO-41. That's 888-RHINO-41.
Don't paint.
Don't vinyl. Go Rhino.
Hey, don't vinyl. Go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
Remember the big bad wolf? Michaelis does. Because around here, all that huffing and puffing and blowing houses down stuff comes in the form of rain, wind, and hail. And no matter what your structure is made of, Michaelis is made of first responders and craftsmen who can restore it to better than new condition. Water, storms, fire, and wet basements. Life happens. Michaelis happens to help you through it. Call 844-FIX-INDY. Make it Michaelis.
Most people approaching retirement age are on the lookout for ways to save money. And when it comes to saving on your Medicare prescriptions, look no further than your neighborhood Walgreens. We're a preferred network pharmacy with many plans nationwide, which could mean lower copays for you. Fill your prescriptions at a Walgreens pharmacy and start saving today. Walgreens participates with AARP Medicare RX from United Healthcare, WellCare, and Cigna. Walgreens participates with other plans. See walgreens.com/Medicare for details.
A tradition of excellence over 150 years in the making. At Busey Bank, we're committed to building relationships that span generations. Wherever your journey in life leads you, we are with you along the way, creating a legacy for you and your family. Busey Bank, building business, growing wealth since 1868. Member FDIC.
It can be dangerously easy to steal your identity during tax season because so much sensitive info is all together.
Before we start the annual meeting of Sean's personal info, has anyone seen Social Security number?
Not me.
Nope.
Nuh-uh.
Oh no. He's been stolen.
LifeLock by Norton makes it easy to help protect yourself. If you become a victim, we'll work to fix it. No one can monitor all transactions, but you can save up to 25% off your first year with promo code NEWS at LifeLock.com. Identity theft protection starts here.
Inside Indiana Business Radio, the news you need to get ahead. Indiana's business news leader, weekdays at 6:32 a.m. and 5:56 p.m. on WIBC.
Hammer and Nigel here, inviting you to join us as we kick off the weekend every Friday around 5:45 with Beer Sample Friday, brought to you by our friends at Thompson Furniture and Mattress in Columbus.
Hammer and Nigel presents
It depends upon what the meaning of the word is.
Is this anything?
All right, let's rock and roll.
Hammer, how do we play? Is this anything?
I am going to run some stories by you. You will break down all of the information and give us a verdict. Is the story anything, or is it a big nothing burger and we all should move on with our lives?
Alrighty.
We start with this. Is this anything? A 911 dispatcher in Florida being praised for helping save a baby that fell into a pool, all while helping somebody over the phone.
Wow.
Here's the 911 call released by the Volusia Sheriff's Department in Florida.
911, where's your emergency? Okay, get the baby out. Stay on the line with me. Stay on the line. Get the baby out of the water. Okay, is the baby breathing?
No, she's not.
Okay, is anyone there trained in CPR?
No, we're not.
Okay, they're on the way. I'm going to tell you what to do, okay? Turn her on her side. There won't need water to drain out if she got any in there, okay? Put the baby flat on her back. I want you to take one hand, place it on the center of her chest between the nipples, and to press down to a depth of 1 inch. Okay, we're going to do 30 compressions.
And the kid's doing okay. They expect a full recovery. That is amazing. Yes, that is something. And the 911 operator is a hero, and he was able to calmly guide somebody that doesn't have any CPR training whatsoever into saving the child's life. I got to tell you, that was like my number one fear when I go to a pool party with the kids and they were really little and, you know, they were still wearing their water wings, but they get out of the pool and take them off and they were running around. I'm not a helicopter parent, but that's like true anxiety for somebody like me. Back in the day when my kids didn't know how to swim. It just happens. It seems like that kind of thing, unfortunately, happens all the time when the parents aren't paying attention and the kid gets loose and he's not wearing water wings or an inner tube or something like that or floaties. And unfortunately, something like that happens.
Former NFL star Peyton Hillis, he had to dive into a pool to save a child and he didn't know how to swim. But he was able to save the child. He almost died.
No kidding.
Drowning in the water, and it took a long while for him to recover. I think he's doing okay now.
I would be freaking out if I was on the phone with the 911 operator, and that was my kid, and I had no idea how to save him. And the operator's like, all right, look, I'm going to teach you how to do this. You're just going to have to put your hand on the chest and start the compressions. And that's what did it.
And the 911 operator, in addition to having the presence of mind of teaching how to do CPR, also being able to calm that woman down so she can understand the process because she was in hysterics.
I would be too, yeah.
He had to calm her down and then walk her through the process. CPR is really important, man. And when Damar Hamlin of the Buffalo Bills had his episode on that Monday Night Football game where they were doing CPR on him in the middle of the field, afterwards, there was a big growth in people learning how to do CPR. I thought that was great.
I didn't know that.
I thought that was phenomenal, especially people in the Bills fandom, Bills Mafia. They all learned CPR. Like there was a story on it, I believe, on the news, and I thought that was really encouraging. That's a great skill.
My brother-in-law works in respiratory therapy and it knows how to do all that stuff and has taken some emergency medical classes and things like that, like EMS. And he said, like, if somebody's having a heart attack, he said, you have to compress their chest like you're trying to break their ribs.
Oh, wow.
That's what he told me. I don't know if that's the official way you're supposed to do it. If I got that wrong, you could correct me at Hammer and Nigel. But the way I understood it was when you're giving those chest compressions, it's as hard as you can, and you're trying to break their ribs.
Now, I'd imagine it's probably a little different with a baby.
Well,
I
sure,
would guess.
yeah, than an adult. But if somebody's having a heart attack or something, I'm saying that was at least what he indicated to me.
Is this anything? Here's an elderly woman totally losing it after leaving someone's house, then turning around and is totally surprised to see a delivery person standing on the porch.
That sounds good to me. I'm so sorry. That's the greatest thing ever. Oh my God. I want to lift up and shoot him. Oh my God. I'm so hoping Brittany got that on video. And I'm sorry. No, you're fine. It's okay, Mama.
Now, just imagine, keep that sound there, Allison. I mean, that's the same sound I would imagine my mother-in-law would make if she walked in on me naked, getting out of the shower. Go ahead. If you could.
That sounds good to me.
There's naked Nigel.
Put a towel on, Nigel. Okay, you can stop it.
I was in the pool. I was in the pool. Is this anything? A new study shows that nearly half of college graduates don't feel comfortable around old school, traditional office technology like fax machines and printers. 20% of young office workers say that they feel a form of tech shame about not being able to understand office equipment.
I'll be honest, in fairness, I think printers have always been difficult to operate. PC load letter, what the F does that mean? Like they talk about it in the movie Office Space.
Why does it say paper jam when there is no paper jam? I swear to God, one of these days I just kick this out the window.
You and me both, man. I think it's lucky I'm not armed.
The home printers are even worse. I mean, these giant Xerox printers we have here are always breaking down. I have no clue what to do. But even the home printers are they're so expensive. The ink cartridges are like $50 a piece. And we've got like two at home that are perfectly fine, but I can't get them to connect to the computer.
Could you use a fax machine right now?
Yeah, well, that's the other thing. They mentioned fax machines. Is there anybody using fax machines still right now?
I don't know. Like, Allison, you're younger than we are. If I told you, hey, go fax this information to somebody, would you know how to do it?
I would, but I had to learn in an office assistant job recently.
Okay.
So I did not learn that in school. I don't remember growing up.
I don't think I could.
Things.
Like, you could do it. I couldn't. I'm in the wheelhouse where I should know. I would have no idea how to fax somebody.
I could probably fumble my way through it.
It's the Hammer and Nigel show.
Garage door problems? Call today for service today. Garage Doors of Indianapolis has been solving garage door problems for 33 years. Call today for service today. 875-4577. Garage Doors of Indianapolis services all makes of garage doors 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Call today for service today. Get it fixed right now. Call Garage Doors of Indianapolis at 875-4577 or visit doorstoday.com.
In the morning, call 875-4577.
Service today.
Hi, it's Bob from Royal Spa. Soaking in a hot tub full of Epsom salts is the absolute best way to minimize everyday aches and pains. And we know all about Epsom salts at Royal Spa. Royal Spa hot tubs are the only hot tubs on the market that can safely and effectively use Epsom salts. Made right here in Indiana, Royal Spa hot tubs are the highest quality hot tubs on the market. Visit any one of our 3 Indianapolis locations or visit royalspa.com.
Ah, Royal Spa.
Okay, March Madness is basically here. Had some play-in games last night. All the real fun starts tomorrow. You can take your first shot at college hoops with FanDuel Sportsbook and get 10 times your first bet amount in bonus bets, up to $200. That's right, just $20 on the bracket, and you'll land $200 in bonus bets, win or lose. That's $200 you can spend betting on everything from the money line to the point spreads to that underdog seed matchup you've been keeping your eye on, all on an app that's safe, it's secure, it's super easy to use. I use it all the time, and there is no better place to bet the tournament than FanDuel Sportsbook. So if you sign up today, go to FanDuel.com/WIBC and make every moment more with FanDuel all tournament long. FanDuel.com/WIBC. 21 plus and present in Indiana. First online real money wager only. $10 deposit required. Refund issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire 14 days. Restrictions apply. See full terms at FanDuel.com/sportsbook. Gambling problem, call 1-800-9 with it.
In St. Pete, Clearwater, Florida, every day is a great escape. With 35 miles of white sand, there's no better place to get away. So let's explore the secluded beaches of Fort DeSoto or paddle our way around Honeymoon Island. Let's kick back, kayak, and catch crimson sunsets. Let's trade snow boots for bathing suits. Let's make today and tomorrow a beach day. Let's shine. Plan your escape at visitstpeteclearwater.com.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
They may not get it done. 50 degrees and sunny in downtown Indianapolis. Your radar's clear, low down to 33 tonight. I'm Harrison Silcox for Lake City Bank. Here's what's trending at 431. The developers behind the Will Shaw Hotel project in Speedway have funding issues, and the project sits unfinished. Virtua Partners, the developer's parent company, has been fined in the past. Speedway Town Manager Grant Kleinhen says the town is keeping an eye on Virtua.
We've continued to do our due diligence up to this point. We're looking into all elements, not just the SEC issue, but others as well.
He says the town is trying everything it can to help finish the Will Shaw Hotel project. Arthur and Jessica Ryer of Brownsburg are accused of participating in the storming of the U.S. Capitol on January 6th, 2021. The Department of Justice says the Indiana couple joined several groups of rioters in the tunnel areas trying to push through police to get inside the Capitol. At one point, a police officer was pinned between a shield and a door. The Ryers were arrested Wednesday in Indiana. President Biden signed an executive order to have stricter enforcement on federal gun control laws, but not everyone thinks it's going to do good.
It's a solution searching for a problem and just compounding on laws already on the books.
Greg Burge, owner of Beech Grove Firearms Gun Shop, talking to Wish TV.
The government wants to be involved in every facet of the firearms transaction, and in my opinion, this is nothing more than a backdoor universal background check.
Along with enforcing background checks, the order also plans a public information campaign on gun safety. Secretary of Defense Lloyd Austin is again calling out Russia after their jets took down a U.S. drone over the Black Sea.
The United States will continue to fly and to operate wherever international law allows, and it is incumbent upon Russia to operate its military aircraft in a safe and professional manner.
He spoke at the Pentagon alongside Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, General Mark Milley. Russia claims their jets didn't make contact with the drone. The average price for gas in Indiana today, $3.42 per gallon of regular, according to Gas Buddy. That statewide average up 6 cents from where it was on Monday. Your stock report, the Dow dropping 280 points today to 31,874. The NASDAQ finishing up 5 to 11,434. And the S&P 500 dropping 27 points to 3,891. You're 1 minute away from traffic and weather. It's 4:34.
People everywhere are binge watching their money. Now streaming on Lake City Bank Digital. When checking Met Savings.
Together we make so much sense.
Also featuring The Day the Spending Stopped.
Sometimes saving money just feels so right.
And The Incredible Shrinking Debt.
Honey, come look. Our loan balance is so tiny.
Plus, Adventures of the Penny Pincher.
My journey has not been an easy one, but my budget is going to survive.
Watch new episodes of Your Money unfold every day. Now streaming on Lake City Bank Digital. Learn more at lakecitybank.com/digital. Member FDIC.
With traffic at 435, here's Matt Bear.
All right, Harrison, northwest side, northbound 465, tight from 86.3 to 865, but inbound 69, slow roll off 96 to 82nd. Eastbound 465, stop and go before Keystone Avenue to Allisonville Road. To downtown, inbound 65, stop and go after 21st to the north split, and eastbound 70, slow from Belmont to Meridian, Illinois. Traffic sponsored by B Windows. Celebrate B Windows' 40-year anniversary with 40% savings on all of their products. Get 20 months, no interest, no payments, plus special offer of an $887 installed patio door. And trust me, I'm Matt Bear. Follow us on Twitter for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
And the forecast from the American Standard Heating Weather Center.
We'll see clouds increase tonight with lows only falling into the mid-30s. Thursday will start dry before we see numerous showers slide in after the lunch hour Thursday. Winds will become breezy as well with highs in the mid-50s. I'm Wish TV Storm Track 8 meteorologist Stephen Deanna for 93 WIBC.
And I'm Harrison Silcox on the level on the go and on WIBC.com.
Little boy boogie.
You're listening to the Hammer and Nigel Show.
And my name is Nigel. Hammer's over there. We have a very special guest on the Drive, Hubler.com hotline.
He is a 2A attorney and the host of the Gun Guy Show, Guy Relford, joining us. Now, Guy, normally Monday is your time to join us, but Joe Biden spoke yesterday, had a speech in California late in the afternoon toward the end of our show, and it sounded pretty unconstitutional to me, but I'm no 2A attorney. You are, so I want to get your thoughts on this. I'm going to play a soundbite for you, Guy, and I want to get your thoughts. This is Joe Biden from yesterday.
This executive order helps keep firearms out of dangerous hands. As I continue to call on Congress to require background checks for all firearm sales. And in the meantime, my executive order directs my Attorney General to take every lawful action possible to move us as close as we can to universal background checks without new legislation.
So, Guy, I'm curious as to your thoughts.
Yeah, it's got a couple different components to it. And again, just on that point, on background checks, there are a couple different issues. And then, of course, there are additional bullet points in this series of executive orders. But as to background checks, what he's talking about there is two things. One, those federal firearms licensees, in other words, licensed gun dealers, they're already required to do background checks on every single transaction. And he's essentially saying, hey, make sure, Department of Justice, make sure that these guys are following existing law by doing background checks on every purchase. Well, no kidding, they can go to jail, they can lose their license if they don't already follow existing law. But the other part of that that's not getting as much attention, and I picked up on this because of the nature of my legal practice, and that is the other part is he's saying, well, we want to assist those that may not be aware that they're required to perform background checks on gun transactions. What he's really talking about there is someone who's not a federal firearms licensee, who's just a private gun owner who buys and sells a few guns a year, or or whatever during whatever time period. He's saying we're going to go after more and more people who are not licensed dealers who just may sell a gun here and there, and prosecute them for the federal crime of being engaged in the business of buying and selling firearms without a license. And that's what a lot of people aren't picking up on. But I know this, and this is just a continuation of what I've already seen, because I've had 3 clients in my office in the last month that have hired me because they're being prosecuted. And the federal government wants to put them in prison because they bought and sold a few guns, and the government now says they were engaged in the business of buying and selling firearms without a license.
So does this have a little more teeth to it than I originally thought it did? I'm on the record as going on the air, and yesterday when rumors of this were going out, and before he came out and gave his speech, that it kind of looked cosmetic. I mean, like does Biden honestly think that licensed gun shops don't know that they have to do background checks? I thought it was kind of a cosmetic thing, but you're saying this has, again, to use the phrase, a little more teeth to it than originally.
Well, your reaction was completely reasonable, Nigel, and frankly, it was my initial reaction just from seeing the media reports, because basically he's just saying, hey, we're going to make sure everybody follows existing law on background checks. So great, everybody already knows we have to follow existing law. But there's a very gray line. It's very undefined as what does and does not constitute being engaged in the business of buying and selling firearms. And there are people who just as a hobby collect firearms and may buy and sell some guns in the process of building their collection. And suddenly they can easily be targeted under this initiative to say that under existing law, they're engaged in the business of buying and selling firearms without a license. And you go to prison for that, up to 5 years with a $50,000 fine. And that's just existing law. But the problem is, and the potential real impact of this is, there's no specific definition as far as number of guns you can sell in a year. Like somebody told me once, there's only a certain number of cars you can buy and sell every year without getting licensed or certified or whatever as a car dealer. There's no number on guns.
Yeah,
it's whatever the ATF decides means you're engaged in the business, and they decide you are, even though you only sold a few guns. Hey, they're just following President Biden's initiative, and suddenly you're in handcuffs being prosecuted in federal court.
So I guess, forgive me if this is a dumb guy question here, does the President of the United States have the constitutional authority to override Congress to make it more difficult for law-abiding citizens to get a firearm? And does he have the authority to make the Attorney General, based on his speech, be the one that is also doing some of the background checks and has a say in who can get a firearm?
Well, it's not a dumb question at all, but the reason I wouldn't call this executive order unconstitutional is at the end of the day, he's just telling the executive agencies under his authority as part of the executive branch, whose job it is to enforce existing law, not change the law, which would require Congress to enforce the laws that they're already assigned to enforce. So I think it's scary in the sense that I think ATF may take a very broad definition, to the extent they're not already, on who's engaged in the business of buying and selling firearms. But his response, the administration's response, the DOJ's response to your question, Hammer, would just be, we're not changing the law. We're just telling the law enforcement agencies with responsibility for enforcing the law to do a better job of enforcing the law.
Does this make anybody safer? I mean, does this make...
No, of course not. That's the ludicrous part of this. I mean, he said, we're going to make sure more people are red flagged under red flag laws across the country. Well, there are 19 states in the District of Columbia that have a red flag law. Essentially, he's telling all of his cabinet members to go in out with an advertising campaign to make sure people in those states, including Indiana, that have red flag laws, know that there's a red flag law, and you can red flag, your ex-spouse, or you can red flag your neighbor and have their guns taken away from them, under these red flag statutes. And you guys and I have talked about those laws a lot in our law here in Indiana. And so great, we're going to have an advertising campaign to, hey man, make sure you know that in your state you can take guns away from your neighbor if you really want to.
We're chatting with Guy Relford, 2A instructor, attorney at law, and host of the Gun Guy Show. One more thing here, Guy, before we let you go. I'm going to play you another sound clip here. This is Joe Biden at his speech yesterday, complaining that the gun industry is the one industry that you're not allowed to sue, apparently.
The executive order ramps up our efforts to hold the gun industry accountable. It's the only outfit you can't sue these days.
It's the only outfit you can't sue these days. When you hear that, Guy, what are your thoughts?
Well, it's a bold-faced lie. Of course you can sue the gun industry. What he's talking about, and the only protection they have, is that if a gun manufacturer or a gun retailer lawfully manufactures and sells a gun and puts that gun into the stream of commerce, and they follow all laws in the process of doing so, if that gun is then taken and used in a criminal act by a criminal, you can't sue the gun manufacturer, the gun retailer, for the outcome, the results of the criminal act committed by a criminal. And why does the gun industry have that protection? Because they're the only industry that's been sued for such a ridiculous theory. In other words, if I take my car and I go run down 20 people on a sidewalk in downtown Indianapolis, is Cadillac going to get sued for that? Of course not. But the gun industry does, and that's why Congress passed the Protection of Lawful Commerce in Arms Act to simply say, if the gun's not defective, the gun seller didn't do anything illegal, they didn't do anything wrong, they followed all laws, and then somebody uses their product in a criminal act, you can't sue them for the criminal act. And the only reason they have that protection is because they're the only industry that gets sued under such a ridiculous concept.
He is the host of the Gun Guy Show, 2A attorney, firearms instructor, Guy Relford from Relford Law. Guy, thank you so much for breaking this down for us.
Thanks, guys. Always a pleasure.
All right, coming up next.
Oh, is it time?
It's time. We will have the winner of a very close matchup in Biden Madness yesterday and an all-new matchup. A Final Four spot is on the line. Biden Madness next.
Creative Planning presents Rethink Your Money with John Hagenson, Saturday morning at 8. Get the most up-to-date financial advice on the freshest thinking on investments, tax strategies, estate planning, and more. Visit creativeplanning.com/radio.
In order for small businesses to thrive, they need to be smart, efficient, agile, staying ahead of the market at every turn, and finding ways to do more with less. That's never been more important than it is right now. So for a limited time, Comcast Business is introducing Small Business Savings, a deal for companies across the country. When you call in now, you can get powerful internet for just $39 a month for 12 months. $39 a month, with no annual contract and a money-back guarantee. All on the largest, fastest, reliable network for small businesses, with the company that powers more businesses than anyone else. So if you're a small business owner, don't wait. Call and get started today. Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
Offer ends 3/21/23. Restrictions apply. New Comcast Business 50 megabits per second internet customers only. Requires EcoBill and AutoPay. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra and subject to change. Call or go online for details. After promo, regular rates apply.
When I put new energy efficient Window Nation windows in my house, it actually increased the value of my home, and it saved me a bunch of money on utility costs. Increase the value of your home by up to $12,000 with Window Nation windows, plus an incredible deal right now. 2 free windows with every 2 you buy. 0 down, 0 payment, 0% financing for 24 months.
Saving thousands of dollars. This is insane. And you should take advantage of this quickly because it's not going to be around forever. So already the deal is in place. Buy 2 windows, get 2 for free. Any style of window, and there's no limit. You can get the whole house done if you want. But on top of that, you don't pay anything for 24 months. Pay nothing for 24 months. So your house is going to look great. Your energy bills are going to go down. You're going to save money. What are you waiting for? Call Window Nation right now. They will answer any question you have. 866-90-NATION or go to windownation.com. You have to tell them Hammer and Nigel sent you.
Living tobacco-free is important to a healthy lifestyle. Make this your opportunity to break free.
Are you ready to quit?
Quit Now Indiana is now offering a new customizable quit plan called Pick Quit.
Pick Quit allows you to choose from a variety of tools that work best for your quit journey.
Pick Quit is a better way to break free from tobacco.
Get the help you need.
No lectures.
No pressure.
Just free help.
Go to quitnowindiana.com today.
Get 3 rooms of carpet Zero Res clean for only $149. That's real spring cleaning with Zero Res. 388-5141 or online at zeroresindy.com.
An $887 installed patio door and 20 months, no interest, no payments. Go to bwindow.com.
Trust me.
Matt Baer has a look at the roads.
All right, Hammer, looking at northbound 465 on the northwest side, stop and go traffic. 86th Street up to 865. East side northbound 465 slows at 70 through. Lawrence up to 69 and inbound 69 a little bit slow from 96th Street down to 82nd. Traffic sponsored by Royal Spa. Everyone knows that soaking in Epsom salts can make you feel better. Now imagine soaking in Epsom salts in a Royal Spa hot tub. RoyalSpa.com. Royal Spa. I'm Matt Bear. Follow us on Twitter for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
50 degrees at the American Standard Heating Weather Center, and it's time for Biden Madness.
You're listening to the Hammer and Nigel Show.
Oh, man, was this a close one from yesterday?
This may be one of the closest finishes we've ever had in the history of Biden Madness. So let's reset the clips we had yesterday. Starting off with the number 7 seed, where Joe Biden was doing an interview with urban radio host Charlemagne the God. Now, keep in mind, Joe Biden ran on the whole premise of being the great unifier, a guy that was going to bring us all together, and this was his message.
If you have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump, and you ain't black.
You ain't black.
Yeah, this is, ran on the platform of unity. You ain't black. Of course, he also ran on the platform of he was going to cure cancer.
That too.
Don't forget about that.
That too. So that was taking on the number 2 seed, where Joe Biden was doing a hit with Stephanie Ruhle on MSNBC, and he was trying to lift up and inspire America with this speech.
The best way to get something done, if it holds near and dear to you that you like to be able to, anyway.
I mean, just a complete meltdown.
Was that one from Biden, the first Biden Madness, or was that the new one?
That's a new one.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
You Ain't Black was the runner-up in the very first Biden Madness. We only brought back 2 clips. That was one of them. So this went back and forth.
It's close.
52.1% to 47.9%, the winner. The number 7 seed, You Ain't Black.
Oh, man.
So You Ain't Black punches its ticket to the Final Four. Now, who is You Ain't Black going to play? That brings us to today's matchup. Let's start with the number 3 seed. The number 3 seed, again, this one isn't even really funny. A lot of these we can laugh at because Joe Biden is so ridiculous.
I know where we're going with this one.
This is a couple weeks after Indiana Representative Jackie Walorski had passed away. Now, mind you, in that time, Joe Biden named a building after Jackie Walorski, talked about her passing, but then there was a bipartisan bill meeting, and here's Joe Biden.
And I want to thank all of you here for including bipartisan elected officials like Representative Governor, Senator Braun, Senator Booker, Representative Jackie. Are you here? Where's Jackie? I didn't think she was going to be here.
Where's Jackie? Well, Joe, she passed away. She died in a car wreck. You named a building after her. You talked about it. Flags were at half-staff. Where's Jackie?
Which is worse, that or when the remains of the Afghan soldiers are getting off the military flight and he was looking at his watch?
I think the watch, just because that shows how cold-hearted he is. Ugh. With Jackie, that's just the dementia kicking in.
That's senility, yeah.
So that's taking on the number 6 seed, and this is a very popular one. When you elect a president, you want him to be a great statesman. You want him to be the commander-in-chief. You want him to be clear and concise and deliver messages to the American people.
I'll lead an effective strategy to mobilize true international effort to pressure.
Now, I don't know what true international pressure is, but I'm pretty sure I don't want any part of that.
That's a classic. That's an instant classic.
So the voting is live right now. Get ready to play these clips one more time, Allison. The number 3 seed, Where's Jackie?
And I want to thank all of you here for including bipartisan elected officials like Representative Governor, Senator Braun, Senator Booker, Representative Jackie. Are you here? Where's Jackie? I didn't think she was going to be here.
Jackie has passed away, Joe. She will not be there.
I hate that so much.
Against the number 6 seed,
I'll lead an effective strategy to mobilize true international effort to pressure.
It's on Twitter right now. We've got it pinned at the top, at Hammer and Nigel. Follow us, like us, make your vote. Where's Jackie or True International Under the Pressure? Vote now at Hammer and Nigel.
Since opening its doors, the Indianapolis Men's Clinic is now the only men's health organization offering an intimacy guarantee. That's right. If you don't perform, you don't pay. You heard that right. Restoring intimacy is important to everyone. Helping men with a proven solution is what drives success. That's why the Indianapolis Men's Clinic stands by their intimacy guarantee. Now you will have the assurance and confidence of proven outcomes without the fear of financial loss. By using the latest technology for the treatment of ED, acoustic wave therapy uses pressure waves to open existing blood vessels, which restores spontaneity and intimacy for you and your loved one. Stop trusting companies that feed you empty promises with no results. Trust an intimacy guarantee. Trust the Indianapolis Men's Clinic. Call the Indianapolis Men's Clinic today. 317-999-9000. That's 317-999-9000 or IndianapolisMen'sClinic.com.
Planning and navigating through retirement can be a little bit of a tricky situation. It could be fun, vision planning it all out, but it could also be confusing. That's where the Howard Bailey team comes in.
When you work with Howard Bailey's team, it's a giant step forward in your mission to live your best life in retirement. Whatever your vision of retirement is, full retirement, work optional, living in Indy, moving somewhere warm, whatever it is, the team at Howard Bailey, they will put together a plan specific to what you are looking for in retirement. Howard Bailey is a growing firm with a youthful, energetic founder and a cutting-edge planning process designed to help you. Contact them today, Howard Bailey Financial. Go see the Howard Bailey difference. Investment advisory services may be offered through Howard Bailey Securities, LLC, a registered investment advisor. Working with Howard Bailey Securities, LLC cannot guarantee investment success or that specific financial goals will be achieved.
Chapters of this story take a whole month to tell. This is May. It starts with twists and turns on the IMS road course for the GMR Grand Prix. Then PPG presents Armed Forces Indy 500 qualifying and the Firestone Fast 6 shootout. May continues with Indy's biggest party, Miller Lite Card Day. And all roads lead to the 107th running of the Indianapolis 500 presented by Gainbridge. This is where heroes become legends and legends become legendary. This is May. Buy now and save. Get tickets at IMS.com.
Get a great deal on versatile Kubota equipment today, like Kubota BX and L Series compact tractors, part of our tractor lineup rated #1 in durability and owner experience, Z Series mowers and Sidekick utility vehicles. Stop by your local Kubota dealer today. Bring home select BX Series equipment for 0 down, 0% APR for up to 72 months, plus save up to $800 now through June 30th. See us or go to KubotaUSA.com for more details.
Stop by McAllister Machinery in Fishers and Indianapolis to see their full line of Kubota, or visit them online at McAllisterKubota.com.
Lanny went to college and racked up huge debt.
A little bit over $100,000.
For a degree he couldn't use? Now what?
I had a friend that went to my computer career and they talked to me about it.
He was done in just months.
I did do it online.
They even helped him get hired immediately after graduation.
One of the things I love about IT is that you can work from anywhere you want.
You could become an IT pro in just months with zero experience at My Computer Career.
It worked for me and I know it can work for you.
It's not rocket science. It's mycomputercareer.edu.
Well-changing question. Are you keeping as much of your investment gains as possible? High taxes can erode returns quickly, so you need a tax-optimized portfolio. At Creative Planning, our money managers and specialists work together to make sure your portfolio and wealth are managed in a tax-efficient manner. It's what you keep that really matters. Why not give your wealth a second look? Book your free meeting today at creativeplanning.com. Creative Planning, a richer way to wealth.
Skyworks Equipment Rental of Indianapolis has immediate openings for experienced parts coordinators, heavy equipment mechanics, CDL drivers, and outside sales reps. Full-time with medical, disability, PTO, 401k, and more. Apply today at skyworksllc.com/jobs. Skyworks, building America from the ground up.
An $887 installed patio door and 20 months, no interest, no payments. Go to bwindow.com.
Trust me.
Coming up in 2 minutes, Donnie Burgess reports on a stalled project in Speedway. 2 Hoosiers have been arrested for their actions January 6th. And why Senator Todd Young is teaming up with a Democrat on a new bill. All that and more coming up after Fox News Radio for the Peterman Brothers Heating, Plumbing, and Electrical Studios. You're listening to 93 WIBC, WIBC HD1 Indianapolis. It's 5 o'clock.
America stays the course. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin says the U.S. military will keep flying wherever international law allows.
And it is incumbent upon Russia to operate its military aircraft in a safe and professional manner.
This after speaking with the Russian defense minister criticizing the harassment of a U.S. surveillance drone which crashed into the Black Sea yesterday after being hit by Russian fighter jets. Russia still denies any impact. During today's Pentagon briefing, the U.S. also reaffirming continued support for Ukraine's fight against a Russian invasion.
This is and remains a Russian frontal assault on the rules-based international order that has been in place for 80 years. 8 decades since the end of World War II.
After the latest meeting with allies today, Joint Chiefs Chairman General Mark Milley says NATO is united. Calls in Congress to dig deeper on a bank failure.
Republican senators like Minority Whip John Thune want answers from regulators about what led to the crash of Silicon Valley Bank.
How come they were asleep at the switch and didn't see this coming?
The calls for action in the United States Senate are bipartisan, as Democratic Majority Leader Chuck Schumer wants to see a bill, but stopped short of saying he'd support one from Senator Elizabeth Warren to repeal a Trump-era bank regulation rollback law.
We need strong legislation, and hopefully we can put something together that's bipartisan.
Leader Schumer says he has faith in the Biden administration and the Federal Reserve to handle the situation and keep the economy sound.
Fox's Ryan Schmelz on Capitol Hill. The Dow finishing down 280. Former porn star Stormy Daniels meets with Manhattan prosecutors, probing hush money payments made to 2 women, including Daniels, on behalf of former President Trump. He still denies an encounter with Daniels, but his then attorney Michael Cohen says Trump reimbursed him for money paid to her. America is listening to Fox News.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
The project has stalled. Sunny, 51 degrees downtown. All clear on your radar. Low of 34 tonight. I'm Harrison Silcox. Here's what's trending at 5:02. It may not reach the finish line. Donnie Burgess reports on the Wilshire Hotel project.
The hotel was supposed to open in 2018, a perfect destination for people coming to town for the Indianapolis 500. But now it's a project filled with frustrations.
I think the first point of severe frustration for the residents as well as the town council and town staff is the fact that the project sits there, not complete.
Speedway Town Manager Grant Kleinhens says funding has been the main issue with completing the Wilshire Hotel. He says it's a real possibility that the hotel may never be finished. Donnie Burgess, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
2 more Hoosiers have been arrested for their actions at the Capitol January 6, 2021. Arthur and Jessica Ryer are accused of trying to break into the building by pushing through police in one of the tunnels. They were arrested Wednesday in Brownsburg and will face several felony and misdemeanor charges. You don't always hear about Republicans and Democrats working together, but that's what Indiana Senator Todd Young wants to do. He's working with Ben Cardin, a Democrat out of Maryland, on a bill to revitalize housing in distressed neighborhoods.
Whether you're a Republican or Democrat, liberal or conservative, you drive through areas, maybe you live in an area where there is a whole lot of blight that tears down property values.
Young talking to Fox News about the Neighborhood Homes Investment Act, which he believes will make improving homes in rough neighborhoods more affordable. March is Bleeding Disorders Awareness Month. John Herrick reports on why that awareness is so important.
For one, they're hard to diagnose. Kimber Blackwell works at the Indiana Hemophilia and Thrombosis Center.
It takes women on average 16 years before they're ever diagnosed. And so that's why bleeding disorder awareness is so important. I was 30 and already in the medical field before I was ever diagnosed with VWD.
VWD being von Willebrand disease, which is the most common bleeding disorder. Some of the symptoms of that include frequent nosebleeds, abnormal or easy bruising, and excessive bleeding of the gums. John Herrick, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
You're 1 minute away from traffic and weather. It's 5:04.
Why does We Grow Hair Indy have the best hair transplant results? Because they have the best technology. And I'm living proof of it. This is Rob. I'm out and about in the community for this radio station, and I feel so much better because We Grow Hair Indy has the technology that restored both my hairline and my crown area. And this year, they can restore yours too. Call them right now at 317-522-2995. Here's Darren Andrews to explain.
Having that strong hairline again completely changes the way you see yourself. It makes a huge difference. A lot of people think the crown cannot be transplanted. It's actually an area of specialty for us with our multi-unit hair grafting.
My hair is going to grow the rest of my life. I'm very happy I called We Grow Hair Indy. Call right now for your free evaluation. 317-522-2995. That's 317-522-2995. WeGrowHairIndy.com. The gold standard in hair restoration.
The traffic on the 5s at 5:05. How are the roads, Matt Bear?
Harrison, we were busy looking at the northeast side, eastbound 465 stop and go before Keystone to Allisonville Road, and that is a drag coming in from Fishers inbound 69, 96 to 82nd. Southbound 65 to downtown stop and go 21st to Meridian Penn at eastbound 70 jam from Holt Road to Harding Street, then slow into Meridian, Illinois. That's a crash east side, northbound 465 at I-70. Right now it's on the left shoulder with traffic backed up to Brookville Road. Traffic sponsored by Isaacs and Isaacs in a wreck and want to win. For over 30 years, the teams at Isaacs and Isaacs have fought the big insurance companies. With over $1 billion recovered, they know how to win. WeWillWin.com. I'm Matt Bear. Follow us on Twitter for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
And the forecast from the American Standard Heating Weather Center.
We'll see clouds increase tonight with lows only falling into the mid-30s. Thursday will start dry before we see numerous showers slide in after the lunch hour Thursday. Winds will become breezy as well with highs in the mid-50s. I'm Wish TV Storm Track 8 meteorologist Stephen Deanna for 93 WIBC.
And I'm Harrison Silcox. On level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
Hammer and Nigel.
Can you believe these characters are weirdos? So let's rock it!
My name is Jason Hammer, right over there with a special guest on the DriveHubler.com hotline.
The Attorney General for the state of Indiana is Todd Rokita. He joins us now. Mr. Attorney General, thank you for your time. Let's get into it here. You sent out transgender clinic letters. Now, for those who haven't followed this story closely, let's start at the very beginning here. What are these letters that you sent out?
Well, hey, gentlemen. So we've gotten some calls, and as I go around the state, I hear actual stories that have given us a rational basis to ask certain clinics around the state whether or not they administer hormones to children, whether or not it's done with or without their parents' consent. Some have been heard to or told to me that they administer or perform surgeries, bottom surgeries, top surgeries, to actually physically change the gender of children. And so, as India's chief legal officer, this is obviously concerning to me. I think these things are child abuse, frankly, these actions, if true. So, like President Lincoln a long time ago said, I want to rely on my better angels and ask these people in writing, but, otherwise informally, not through a court of law, is this true? What do you do exactly? What don't you claim to do? What do you tell parents? To the extent that parents, if the answer is they're going to give informed consent to mutilate their own child or feed them hormones for the rest of their life to change who they are because either they or society or something else says they need to change their sex. What are you telling parents that makes them conclude this? So we asked all those questions, and we'll see if we get answers. They have till about March 27th, and if not, we'll get them some other way.
So is this a fact-finding kind of thing for you, or is this something to where if you get some information back that says these medical providers are indeed doing these things to children, there's going to be some sort of legal ramification?
Well, we'll have to see what comes back, right? And I'm sure they're lawyering up right now, and if they're going to answer at all, they're having lawyers review it. So we'll go through all that. But it all starts with the rational basis we have for asking the question in the first place, and we do. We're getting these sort of reports and at least anecdotal stories. And we know that it's happening in other parts of the country. Like in Missouri, for example, our whistleblower recently identified these very things. So I'm not naive enough to believe that, if it's happening in Missouri, it's not happening in Indiana. And guys, for example, today we just got a call from a young lady who, as a child, was a boy. As a child, she convinced her parents and her caregivers and whoever else, the doctors obviously, that she wanted her sex changed. Now, this is when she was a child. She terribly regrets it. She was on the phone with one of my excellent attorneys just today. And she said, well, even if they come back and say that they're not doing the surgeries, that doesn't mean they're not referring them out to other places in the country that may be doing them. So we have that whole line there. And she mentions that from her own experience. She knows that even if you don't record the reason to do this as some kind of gender dysphoria or something like that, that they might be coding it as something else, like an endocrine problem or something like that. So to answer your question, maybe in a long way, there's a lot to look into here, and I intend to do that.
Attorney General Todd Rokita here on the Hammer and Nigel show. You just mentioned gender dysphoria, and I believe gender dysphoria is a real problem. It's a serious problem. I don't know how common it is, Mr. Rokita, but I just want to make sure, you're just talking about the surgeries and the medication, like puberty blockers. You're not necessarily going after the mental care side to the minors. I'm familiar. I'm vaguely familiar with an acquaintance whose family has gone through this kind of thing with the gender dysmorphia, and it is a real thing. But I'm just wondering if you're concentrating, your office is concentrating on the surgery, which I'm against, and puberty blockers, which I'm against, until they're of a certain age, and what exactly the clinics may or may not be telling their parents. Because I think there's a difference between the mental care and the, which I think is extremely important, and the actual gender surgery.
Right. I see your question and I understand it. Here's how I would answer. This dysphoria and what to do about it. Yes, I'm not to say it's not real. I can say as a parent, though, that I think the surgery and the hormone, ought to be the last resort, not the first go-to.
Yes.
There's a lot of counseling that can happen. There's a lot of discussion and talking. And yes, there's no doubt in my mind, guys, that these kids need love and they need attention. And it's only us adults and particularly their parents that can give that and do that the right way. But what I'm concerned about is this. Well, first of all, what's the motive here? Why are we hearing so much more about these now? And then the fact of the matter, guys, fact of the matter, and we'll ask these questions too, there's a lot of money to be made. These surgeries, because there's multiple surgeries, each one of them is tens of thousands of dollars, goes on for a good part of their lives, and then there's the upkeep surgeries you got to do. I mean, you're talking about $150,000, $200,000. The hormone therapy is expensive as well. So there is a money motive here. And then, as you know, there's this radicalization in our society now. There's this sexualization of our children. There's this radicalization, so many parts of these innocent kids' lives that may be playing into this as well. And it's those two things that I'm after. And I would finally say that, your situation that you mentioned, anyone else who has that kind of situation or knows about it, you said you're vaguely familiar. They're very rare, right? When you look at a population as a total, they're very rare, and they should be rare, and that counseling should be had, and that attention should be paid. But again, to take that very rare situation and try to radicalize it into the norm is being done by people with special interests, either a money motive or because they really want to just attack the family unit, right? They want to take down this society as we know it and put government in charge more. So there's a lot of stuff going on here, and our most vulnerable, our children, who are also our greatest asset, our biggest prize, are the ones being targeted.
Indiana's Attorney General Todd Rokita with us on the Hammer and Nigel show. Mr. Attorney General, 2 questions that I see from opponents of what you're talking about here are, number one, these letters that you're sending out to medical providers, is that going to violate any HIPAA laws? And number 2, these questions that you're asking, does this mean you want to eradicate transgender people? What are your responses when you hear those types of complaints?
Listen, we're all God's children, and we all get gifts from God. And, although I'm very concerned about rejecting such gifts, I'm in no position to say that a person put on this earth is any less special than I am or anyone else. So that's not the point at all. Regarding HIPAA laws, look, what breaks a HIPAA law and other patient privacy laws is when you have a 10-year-old patient, like we had a couple months ago, who went through a very traumatic situation, and you go to the Indianapolis Star with that patient's story. And then you allow that 10-year-old girl to go back to the perpetrator in Ohio. That's what's wrong. That breaks the law. And as you know, we're going after that situation. But to get the aggregated data that my questions ask for is not a violation at all, because we're not coming close to being able to identify a particular person. We're asking for general numbers.
Mr. Attorney General, we got less than a minute left here, but we've got Tony Kennett coming up here in just a few minutes to join us on this program. He has a story about a whistleblower or a whistleblower type of situation that took place in the Pendleton schools, where a counselor told parents what was going on with their children, information they were not getting from the school. At least that's the story. Is there anything the Attorney General's office is looking at in regards to stories like that?
You guys asked me about this last time, and I appreciate it. I support this counselor. The question is, what jurisdiction would we have there? We do have a Secretary of Education that's appointed by an elected governor. I am certainly involved in education issues, mostly because others aren't. Right, I did a Parents' Bill of Rights and so forth, because I thought parents going into school board meetings was actually a good thing, and we shouldn't shy away from it or try to detract or be scared of it. We should encourage that, because parents were actually doing their job. They were parenting. That's what going to a school board is all about. So this counselor, in the same way, was saying that at the end of the day, parents need to be in charge, even if there's if there's a little bit of scaredness about telling a parent because they might not be receptive to it. It's still the parent's responsibility. It's still the parent's right. At the end of the day, it's the parent's job. If we're going to ask them to be parents, they need all the information, and this counselor was exactly right.
The Attorney General for Indiana is Todd Rokita. Thank you so much for joining us, sir.
Thank you, guys. See you next time.
Matt Bear's got to look at the roads.
All right, Hammer inbound 65, stop and go 21st Street to the north split, and over on the east side, northbound 465 crash at I-70, left shoulder traffic stop and go to Washington. Eastbound 72 downtown, stop and go from Tibbs to Meridian, Illinois. On the south side, eastbound 465 slows in pocket 70 over 231. Traffic sponsored by Staples Store. Staples Stores are a new world of possible innovative tools for small business and remote workers and learners. Explore more at your local Staples store, staplesconnect.com. I'm Matt Bear. Follow us on Twitter for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
50 degrees at the American Standard Heating Weather Center at 93 WIBC.
Lanny went to college and racked up huge debt.
A little bit over $100,000.
For a degree he couldn't use? Now what?
I had a friend that went to my computer career and they talked to me about it.
He was done in just months.
I did do it online.
They even helped him get hired immediately after graduation.
One of the things I love about IT is that you can work from anywhere you want.
You could become an IT pro in just months with zero experience at My Computer Career.
It worked for me, and I know it can work for you.
It's not rocket science. It's mycomputercareer.edu.
Mom, Dad, Sis?
Here we go again.
Why are you in a suit? Picture, if you will, a world with the best network imaginable. I'm talking about the Xfinity 10G network. Go on. Mom, remember how your reality shows wouldn't load with all of us online? Now you can binge. And Susie, we'll have fast internet in the basement.
Nice.
If you have any questions, here's my card.
This is just your name on a gum wrapper.
Introducing the 10G network only from Xfinity. The future starts now. Now through March 21st, new customers can get 200 megabit Xfinity internet during our limited time Xfinity 10G network launch celebration for just $25 a month for 2 years. Plus, there's no annual contract required and you get Wi-Fi equipment included. Go to xfinity.com/10G, call 1-800-XFINITY, or visit a store today. Requires paperless billing and autopay with stored bank account. Restrictions apply. Taxes and fees extra. After promo, regular rates apply to internet service and devices. Actual speeds vary.
Yeah, Mark Diedel's the only real estate agent I trust to sell my home, especially now that he's got this new guarantee. He guarantees your home sold at an agreed-upon price and deadline, or he'll just buy it himself. Take Brandy in Indianapolis, for example. She had an investment property, right, and needed to sell, but she was kind of worried that she had missed a boat on Top Dollar. She heard about Mark Diedel on our show, and he assured her his team would get it done, and boy, he was right. He had that home sold in 2 days for Top Dollar.
Mark Diedel guarantees your home sold or he'll buy it. Let that sink in for a minute. Call Mark Diedel today and ask about this amazing guarantee. He'll answer any questions that you have. 317-755-4232. That's 755-4232. Or go to markdiedel.com. That's Mark, Dietel, markdiedel.com. Tell him Hammer and Nigel sent you.
What if the next time you painted your home was the last time you painted your home?
Our home has had Rhino Shield for 10 years.
Rhino Shield. Call 888-RHINO-41. Don't paint, don't vinyl. Go Rhino.
Garage door problems? Call today for service today. Garage Doors of Indianapolis has been solving garage door problems for 33 years. Call today for service today. 875-4577. Garage Doors of Indianapolis services all makes of garage doors 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Call today for service today. Get it fixed right now. Call Garage Doors of Indianapolis at 875-4577 or visit doorstoday.com.
In the morning, call 875-4577.
Service today.
By listening to WIBC, you'll learn how to create a secure income plan that is sustainable throughout retirement from Crown Haven Wealth Advisors. Tune into WIBC this Sunday from 9 to 10 p.m.
The Hammer and Nigel Show.
Do you suppose we'll meet any wild animals?
Hey, baby, let's go out there like a bunch of crazy dogs. Have some fun.
The dingo ate your baby.
And now Hammer and Nigel proudly presents.
Damn, nature, you scary.
Lions.
And tigers.
And bears.
Oh, my.
Hammer, a woman in Oklahoma nearly had her ear ripped off by a pet monkey.
Damn monkey, rip my ear off.
The monkey escaped a nearby neighbor's house. Here's Brittany talking about the traumatizing attack.
I looked out the window and there was a monkey looking at me, and I took a second take and I was like, there's a monkey on the front porch. He was trying to get into my house, the little button that you push in on your screen door. He had broke it off. I was literally hanging on to the door trying to hold my door closed. He crawled, jumped up my back and landed on my head, grabbed handfuls of hair and just ripped it out.
Oh no.
And then ripped my ear almost completely off of my head.
So this monkey was actively, he was stalking her. He was outside the screen door, and then he's looking at her, and then he's trying to get in, and she's holding the door back, right? And they broke the knob off. The monkey got in and ripped her damn ear off.
It's like the movie It, except for clown, it's a freaking monkey.
Damn, nature, you scary.
Can we just stop with the exotic animals for pets? I'm just over it,
Right, because this has to be an exotic pet because monkeys just don't run wild in Oklahoma.
Boa constrictors and alligators and monkeys and anything you can think of.
And stop with the emotional support crap.
Yes, I've got my emotional support pig that's going to come on the plane with me here. Right. I've had enough of it. And this brings us to an all-new segment we like to call here on the Hammer Nigel Show, Great Moments in Monkey History.
All right.
Let's first make a stop to Las Vegas with Cousin Eddie.
I ain't seen a beating like that since somebody stuck a banana in my pants and turned the monkey loose.
Okay.
I did.
All right.
Just before we move on, I love how the lady said in this story that the monkey was just staring at her.
I looked out the window and there was a monkey looking at me.
Like, how frightening is that? You open up the drapes, you want to see a beautiful Oklahoma sunny morning, and there's a damn monkey staring
I looked out
at
the
you.
window and there was a monkey looking at me.
Great moments in monkey history. Now, if you've ever been harassed by a bunch of monkeys, you try stomping and shouting, and that gets rid of it.
What are you doing? Stop. Babe, what do we do?
It's okay.
Are you sure?
Oh.
I don't think so.
Does that let the monkeys know that you're in charge?
Raw! 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 Stomp and go raw. And finally, great moments in monkey history. Remember when monkey pox was a thing?
Oh, yeah. Hammer
and Nigel, you got all these gross sores all over your face and mouth. If indeed you were infected with what amounted to be an STD.
Correct.
We commissioned a song from Hammer and Nigel Records.
Here it comes, and it's not discreet. You'll get the scariest outbreaks from people that you meet.
Here it comes.
Come on.
You get the pox from a monkey. People get sick all around. It's not as bad as COVID, but it can still put you down. We're just a little infectious. Got an open source, stay away. Better get to a doctor and get another shot today. Got pox from a monkey. Got pox from a
I'm sorry, monkeypox does sound worse than COVID.
It does. And I got to be honest with you. I was really hoping you had the jingle, because the jingle from Monkeypox that we had, the very simple, the acapella, the Monkeypox theme music that we had, of all the songs, of all the introductions and things that we do, from legal stuff to Damn Nature You Scary, the Monkeypox theme music was my favorite.
Monkeypox, monkeypox, oh monkey, 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 monkeypox, monkeypox, oh monkey, 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 monkeypox. Monkeypox, oh monkey, 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 monkeypox.
That screeching monkey gets me every time at the end right
I
there.
looked out the window and there was a monkey looking at me.
Oh, wow.
Dateline, New York. There was a flight from Dublin to New York City.
Yes.
Now, this is a 7-hour flight, Nige.
I would love to go to Dublin sometime.
It sounds fun.
Country, yeah.
Be a great trip.
Yeah, so they're coming home.
7-hour flight from Dublin, coming back to the States, to New York, all 7 hours, or most of the 7 hours, according to a passenger on this flight that had their cell phone out and recording. The Irish band was playing the entire time. That was a recording from somebody's phone.
No.
Most of that flight, the Irish jam band thought they would entertain everybody in the cabin with their brand of folk music.
Okay, yeah, you know what? Another thing I can live without: wacky folk bands on live on long airline flights playing their music. Nobody, you don't want to sit and listen to this for 7 hours? I can barely stand it on St. Patrick's Day.
Right. Right. And listen, it's not just Irish folk bands. It's Peruvian flute music. It's the people that want to just play their guitar. It's the religious groups, too.
We had a story about how there was a praise and worship band that were playing their songs on the flight. That's fine in church. I'm all for it. I like it in church. But not when I'm on a 3-hour flight to Vegas.
Right.
And this certainly is unacceptable.
37-hour flight, Nigel. 7 hours.
That's awful.
Even if Van Halen was on my flight, 7 hours is an awful lot of Van Halen to put up with.
Okay, yeah, so... And by the way, I don't need the wacky flight attendants either that, like, they wrap their, how to put a seatbelt on and the emergency procedures. They've turned it into a clever rap at the beginning.
Right.
I'm done with that. I don't need that.
What about a wacky pilot? Like the pilot comes on, hey, we're going to Las Wages this afternoon. I mean Las Vegas.
Nope. Don't need that. And I don't need neighbors with domesticated wild animals like monkeys or boa constrictors or alligators, as at the beginning of this segment.
Can I hear the monkeypox jingle just one more time?
Monkeypox, monkeypox, oh monkey, 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 monkeypox, monkeypox, oh monkey, 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 monkeypox, monkeypox, oh monkey.
Wait for it.
Monkeypox.
Tony Kennett of the Daily Signal coming up next. Right now, we look at the news.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
They may not get it done. 51 degrees, sunny downtown, nothing on your radar. There might be a few clouds that move in tonight. You've got a low of 33. I'm Harrison Silcox. Here's what's trending at 5:30. The developers behind the Wilshire Hotel project in Speedway, Indiana, have funding issues, and the project sits unfinished. Virtua Partners, the developer's parent company, has been fined in the past. Speedway town manager Grant Kleinhens says the town is keeping an eye on Virtua.
We've continued to do our due diligence up to this point. We're looking into all elements, not just the SEC issue, but others as well.
He says the town is trying everything it can to help finish the Wilshire Hotel project. A man from Fort Wayne has been sentenced to 15 years in federal prison after pleading guilty to sex trafficking a minor. Court documents say Damian Alexander met a 17-year-old online about 2 years ago and convinced her to travel with him, and he had her engaging in sexual acts that he wound up benefiting from financially. Top defense officials say they're not sure if Russia intentionally took down a U.S. drone flying over the Black Sea.
We know that the intercept was intentional. We know that the aggressive behavior was intentional. We also know it was very unprofessional and very unsafe.
Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff General Mark Milley said Russian jets intended to intercept the drone, but it's not clear if they collided with it on purpose. Russia has denied their jets made contact with the drone purposely. Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg says actions need to be taken now to prevent a horrible accident in the nation's aviation system. Buttigieg spoke at the FAA Air Safety Summit Wednesday about close calls of planes nearly colliding with one another. He says it would be wrong to wait for the next catastrophic event to happen, and that we've already been seeing the warning signs. The Indianapolis Colts have made it official. They are releasing quarterback Matt Ryan after one season. The news was reported Tuesday. Indianapolis confirmed it this afternoon. With traffic at 5:32, here's Matt Baer.
All right, Harrison crash 96 at Gray and then northbound 465. It's jam before 86th Street up to 865. Same with eastbound, northeast side before Keystone Avenue to Allisonville Road. Inbound 65 locked up 21st on in. Eastbound as 70 stop and go from Belmont to Meridian, Illinois. And crash clear east side, northbound 465 at I-70. That's still slow to Brookville Road. Traffic sponsored by Royal Spa. Everyone knows smoking in Epsom salts can make you feel better. Now imagine soaking in Epsom salts in a Royal Spa hot tub. RoyalSpa.com. Royal Spa. I'm Matt Baer. Follow us on Twitter for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
And the forecast from the American Standard Heating Weather Center.
We'll see clouds increase tonight with lows only falling into the mid-30s. Thursday will start dry before we see numerous showers slide in after the lunch hour Thursday. Winds will become breezy as well with highs in the mid-50s. I'm Wish TV Storm Track 8 meteorologist Stephen Deanna for 93 WIBC.
And I'm Harrison Silcox on the level on the go and on WIBC.com.
The Hammer and Nigel Show. My name is Nigel. Jason Hammer is here. Tony Kinnett joining us live in the studio from the Tony Kinnett Show, former STEM administrator for IPS. Any update from what happened in Pendleton? If you could just give us a brief reset and reaction and fallout from the counselor that was fired there.
Yeah, absolutely. So as many will remember, Buck Evans is a school board member who said that Kathy McCord had lied. She'd falsified documents, and then I falsified documents, and our report was just full of inaccuracies meant to stir up the community. So then I asked the question, can you cite some of these inaccuracies? What was falsified?
And this was about the counselor who had told parents
that there was a hidden transgender plan in the district. So I asked them to cite their sources. They threw me out of the meeting. That kind of the end of the thing. Since then, parents have reached out and asked individuals at the school board via messages and things, okay, so what did they falsify? And we have a message from Buck Evans to a parent in which he's basically like, well, it's actually not that they falsified anything. It's just that Kathy McCord would not admit to us that she gave the gender support plan to Kinnett. That's why we fired her.
Hold on.
So, they said they used the word, didn't they?
That is correct.
And didn't media outlets all over this city say that Kathy McCord was accused of falsifying documents, and it was big headlines, and they were trying to drag you a little bit.
Yeah. And the school board produced their fact-finding statement the next day that literally just was the exact same words that Buck Evans said the night before. And it turns out, according to Buck Evans' own fingers, he's a liar. It turns out, according to earlier videos and audio recordings that you guys know I'm going to release, that they're liars, and they fired a counselor for no good reason.
You've got the audio.
Oh, I do, and I'm going to release every single bit of it, including their lawyer, their former lawyer from Church, Hiddle, and Antrim, that told them they had to hide this stuff from parents. So it looks like it was a policy all along, and I sure can't wait for it to be released to the public.
But what, if any, recourse can Kathy McCord take at this point? I mean, lawyer up? Is that what we're thinking?
So I do not want to speak too much on the situation in case of any lawsuits that might be happening. It is within the right of the school district to fire anyone on a teacher contract for whatever reason they want. For using the wrong vending machine, they can fire you in Indiana. However, you cannot get up in front of everyone and defame an individual knowing the statements are false. And Buck Evans did. So I hope that the South Madison School Board community has said their prayers, because I don't think that defamation and libel overtly, after he admitted it days before and days later, really work too well in an Indiana court of law.
So Kathy's situation aside, what about you? Because for whatever reason, you were the bad guy in that school board meeting.
Yeah, super villain.
You walked in, man, and it was like Darth Vader walking into the room.
That's true.
Any chance of illegal stuff from you, Tony?
Well, first of all, it needs to be made very clear that I disproved all of the nonsense that was thrown at me the night of, because as someone who actually has a shred of responsibility and accountability, I just want people to know all of the facts. Basically, if you don't like me, don't agree with me, cool. But that's what's going on. As far as the lawsuit is concerned, they slandered the reporting at the Daily Signal. Any decisions that the Daily Signal wants to make, that's in their court. I personally don't really care if some whiny worm farmer whines about me at a school board meeting. Joel Sandifer, the previous school board president, threw a fit. He walked in and I was like, hey, there's a chair over there, random other individual. And he's like, I've been here for years. I know where the chairs are. It's like, okay.
And I bet that's exactly what he sounds like.
It is. It's on the live stream. You can see it. You can see him act like that. So it's one of these things that it's not worth to me in my position.
But it's frustrating when you know you're right and people try to drag you. Because I went through this crap with Channel 13.
Sure, it is frustrating. There is an element where, it's like, well, if I was lying, I would say one thing. There are people now that are accusing me of not even being thrown out of the meeting by police, that I made that up, even though you can see the cop walking up to me. You can see Mike Hanna, having me be thrown out.
And it looked like that officer, and I could be completely
wrong. No, his
wrong.
name's Baker, who's a wonderful dude.
Seemed like he was just like, man, I have to do this.
Yep,
but
didn't want to do it.
This is ridiculous.
Nope, that the school board does reserve that right to throw people out. Throwing the press out is a bold move. Personally, I think that's kind of a wild thing for Mike Hanna to do, but, that is what they decided to do. So, no, the police are fine. By the way, you can feel free to call the Pendleton police and double check my work. See if they were asked to throw me out. They will tell you yes. So, it's just one of those situations where school board members members are dumb. What are you going to do?
Tony Kennett with us from the Daily Signal. So let's shift gears to the Indiana General Assembly. They're in the fourth quarter of their session here. They'll be wrapping up very soon. Has this session been a total failure for parents who aren't complete lunatics, Tony? Because I can point to a couple different things here. You've got Governor Holcomb not being a big fan of the bill that was brought to him that would allow biological boys to play ball with biological girls. You've got the bill that was dead on arrival that would make it so people running for school boards would have to declare their political party. That was a big deal to a lot of people. Never really got a real sniff. Has this been a failure?
In a lot of ways, yes. And the failure in the Indiana legislature can be laid in one group specifically, and that's the Senate. The Indiana House has been putting out some really good pieces of legislation. I've been really excited to see it. Representative Teshka, Representative Goodrich have been churning out some really great stuff. I've been really pleased to see a lot of this content churned out that would, for example, ban schools from hiding gender things from parents, like in the case of Pendleton and also in New Prairie up near South Bend. There are certain bills that have been brought up, but the Senate kills them because the Senate is full of senators who never ever speak to their constituents, or if they do, they'll say, well, I understand your concern. And then they'll turn around and
because everyone is scared to death of the school board folks in Indiana, because even though they're super leftist and they hate everything Republicans stand for, every once in a while they'll get a little crumb. They'll get a little cash flow coming down, and these people love power.
I'm going to be honest with you. I think that it's a little bit more simple than that. I think that you have a lot of Indiana Republican senators who do not want to be on Colbert that evening. They don't want to be on CNN. They don't want people calling them a Nazi, evil, fascist, whatever. And so if that means giving up their spine, well, as long as no one's saying mean things about me, then who cares about my constituents?
And they'll keep getting elected because there's an R next to their name.
Yep, because no one cares about the primaries. And in many cases, they're not even challenged.
I did hear a famous, I was walking through the halls earlier this morning. You were filling in for Casey Daniels on the Kendall and Casey show. You were going on a rant or something, right?
You know me. I was rather aggravated how Bray and Walker specifically, two individuals who I've spoken to before, will basically listen to a lot of parents who say, look, I do not want this kind of content, this kind of garbage, these kind of things put in front of my kids in public schools.
Sexual content.
Yes, usually sexual content, often also critical race theory-based content as well. And so the representative or the senator, in the case of Bray and Walker, will say, yeah, okay, thank you, I agree with you, that's bad. And then they'll turn around and they'll go into committee, and then they'll go, well, we don't want to make language that's too harsh. I mean, there's all these problems with the bill, and I don't know. And so they water everything down so much that in the case of bills now, they're just not even reaching the floor because, who's going to stop them?
Is it because Governor Holcomb is so wishy-washy on this kind of stuff? Because what Ron DeSantis is doing in Florida, it certainly isn't an easy decision to do what he's doing, but damn the torpedoes, he does it, and it seems like he gets the results that he wants.
It's interesting that you say that, because when you compare Governor DeSantis and Governor Holcomb, one of them has the teachers union over to the governor's residence for dinner to talk education. The other one passes legislation that parents approve of. So I don't know. I mean, Eric Holcomb has an R next to his name, so he's got to be a Republican, I guess. I'm told, when he's not flying to Egypt and advocating for the left on climate change. Who knows?
And meeting with Malik Muhammad, and you're right. They're the same guy, basically, DeSantis and Holcomb, aren't they?
Oh, yeah. DeSantis is
there's no comparison.
Yeah, of course. God, what a disgrace.
But are there any bills that would prevent schools from having the policies instituted like the ones that they were arguing about in Pendleton at this point?
So HB 1608 does have a provision in it which would prevent schools from hiding things from parents regarding gender. But at this point, I'm not sure whether the Senate will hear it or not. This should be a bill that passes very easily, but knowing our Senate, they'll probably look at it and go, oh no, that's from those Republicans. And be like, aren't you a Republican? Well, I'm more... and then it'll just die.
And they all sound like Mr. Howell, apparently, from Gilligan's Island.
They really do. It's incredible.
Can you stick around for one more segment?
You got it.
Tony Kennett with us from the Daily Signal and the Tony Kennett Show. Coming right back to the Hammer and Nigel Show.
Creative Planning presents Rethink Your Money with John Hagenson, Saturday morning at 8. Join John each week as he challenges financial advice you may have been given and reaffirms what you know to be true. Visit creativeplanning.com/radio.
Tired of living with chronic joint pain but want to avoid drugs and surgery? So was Robert Patterson until he found QC Kinetics.
I was looking for a way to get better without a lot of downtime. The treatments that QC Kinetics offered, the non-surgical treatments, were ideal for me.
Robert learned how QC Kinetics uses regenerative medicine, natural biologics to restore and repair damaged tissue, encouraging your body to heal itself.
Surgery is not an option, and it doesn't always have to be an option.
Do you suffer from pain in your knees, hips, shoulder, or back? Call QC Kinetics and learn how regenerative treatments can give you your life back.
There's no downtime. You literally go into the doctor's office and you get treated, and then you go back to doing what you were doing. Who would have thought that I would be in better shape now than, shortly after I got out of the Marines at 22?
Call QC Kinetics now for a free consultation.
Call QC Kinetics, 317-559-PAIN. That's 317-559-PAIN. 317-559-PAIN.
What if you didn't have to continue working to live a lifestyle you're happy with? What if you could spend the rest of your life doing what you want to do when you want to do it, not worrying about others claiming your time and energy? Aspiring retirees want to know how to achieve the work-optional lifestyle. A much better question is, who can help you achieve this lifestyle? Working because you want to, not because you have to, is financial freedom. This is Brian Singer. My friend and colleague Casey Weed, the founder of Howard Bailey Financial, wrote a best-selling book titled Job Optional. I'm excited to be part of a team that has developed and refined a proprietary process designed to help people who are still working create a job-optional lifestyle. The Howard Bailey Retire with Purpose framework looks at 5 key areas of your financial life and then informs your choices to design a lifestyle as unique as you are. Retire with Purpose puts all the pieces of the puzzle together in a process designed to bring predictability and purpose to your financial life. We're not all things to all people. We are all things to some people. This means we primarily work with people who understand you don't need to know how, you just need to know who. Who knows how to fit all the pieces of the puzzle together to support your one-of-a-kind lifestyle? Who can do that for you and do it so well that that advisor team is the last team you will ever need or want? We work with people who expect their relationship with us to be transformational rather than transactional. Call us at 317-852-9153 to schedule a retirement readiness review and see how the Retire with Purpose process might transform your life. 317-852-9153.
Investment advisory services may be offered through Howard Bailey Securities, LLC, a registered investment advisor. Working with Howard Bailey Securities, LLC cannot guarantee investment success or that specific financial goals will be achieved. Job Optional was a #1 Amazon bestseller in retirement planning on 7/2/19 and a Wall Street Journal ebook bestseller on 8/9/19.
It can be dangerously easy to steal your identity during tax season because so much sensitive info is all together.
Before we start the annual meeting of Sean's personal info, has anyone seen Social Security number?
Not me.
Nope. Nuh-uh. Oh, no. He's been stolen.
LifeLock by Norton makes it easy to help protect yourself. If you become a victim, we'll work to fix it. No one can monitor all transactions, but you can save up to 25% off your first year with promo code NEWS at LifeLock.com. Identity theft protection starts here.
When you choose Comcast Business, you choose a future-ready next-generation 10G network. Comcast Business, powering possibilities. Restrictions apply. Not available in all areas. Actual speeds vary.
Matt Baer has a look at the roads.
Northbound 465, stop and go. 86th Street up to 865. Northeast side, eastbound 465, jams at Westfield Boulevard and let's go around the White River. Inbound 65, stop traffic. 21st Street to Meridian Bend, that's a crash. 96 at Gray. Traffic sponsored by B Windows. Celebrate B Windows' 40-year anniversary with 40% savings on all their products. Get 20 months, no interest, no payments, plus special offer of an $887 installed patio door. Trust me, I'm Matt Baer. Follow us on Twitter for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
50 degrees at the American Standard Heating Weather Center at 93 WIBC.
My name is Nigel. Hammers here. Second segment with Tony Kinnett from the Tony Kinnett Show. I saw you on Fox News over the weekend for a Man, that was a lengthy segment they had you on there for. Tell me what the segment was about, removing certain language from books in schools and things like that.
Yeah, so R.L. Stein wrote the Goosebumps series.
Yeah, my kids. We watched that when they were. They turned it into a Netflix
television
series.
Yeah.
Sure, but they were books beforehand. Yeah.
So like kind of a junior kind of horror story, Twilight Zone kind of a series
for kids.
Yeah, for kids. Yeah, and they were pretty decent books. I never got into them. My wife likes those books a lot, or liked them when she was a kid, and they have gone back. Scholastic has gone back and whitewashed the book, so they're removing language like obese. So like there were these monsters that were going to eat people, and so they became these bloated obese monsters. Well, they've erased the book. Now they're big and they're tall. So they don't actually describe them.
Kidding me.
Oh yeah, there's one character who's not a villain, just a character, normal guy in one of the books who it says like walked with a strut, was very confident. He was also African American and he liked rap. That's what the book said. And they've now erased it. They've erased the word African American. They've erased what kind of music he likes, which is amazing because when I'm reading a novel, I like a picture to be painted so I can actually in my mind's eye picture what the character is doing.
Right, reading and to an extent, doing radio is theater of the mind.
That's true. Right now, I'm painting a really beautiful picture of chocolate pudding. You need to pick some up on the way home. But if I didn't say chocolate pudding, you'd have no idea what dessert I was talking about. It's painting a picture. Scholastic, though, they're wiping all of the descriptive imagery because it's not inclusive for the average reader.
Ridiculous.
But what's behind this? Who is doing this? What is because they're doing this with the Dolls classic children books as well, right?
You have some angry-haired, usually individual with angry blue-haired individual who gets home from college that day with their lesbian basket weaving major, and they're really upset because the new word that BuzzFeed invented last week, pro-hetero-hansexual elephantitis, whatever, isn't in the Goosebumps book from the mid-90s. So they rant and they scream and they're like, we're going to cancel you, Scholastic. And then I guess Scholastic caves.
Tony Kennett with us. Got a couple minutes left here. So Joe Biden did this interview and was basically suggesting that it's sinful to keep kids from puberty blockers and things like that. Your thoughts?
So I personally think that it's much more sinful to cut off part of a girl's arm in order to make an artificial penis. I think it's a little bit more sinful to cut off the penis of a young boy and telling him that he's a girl, have a wound that he'll have to maintain for his entire life. It's also sinful to give a child drugs that's going to mutilate their endocrine and reproductive systems. That's just me, but I mean, okay, I guess it's sinful not to allow the schizophrenic to think that the toaster isn't talking.
Even with the parents' permission and they're underage. I would agree with you 100%. Even with parents' permission, I don't think a 16-year-old has the capacity to make a decision whether or not to lop off an appendage just to transition.
No, leaning into a mental disorder is never a good course of action. And really, in that idea, you're not going to tell an anorexic that their diet plan is a really good move and you're going to help them keep from eating. That's a very bad decision. This is the same thing with transgender.
But gender dysmorphia is a real thing, though.
Yes, it is.
And I have acquaintances. I'm familiar with situations where parents are dealing with that kind of thing, and it is very difficult.
It is, and it's something that requires a lot of counseling, care, and attention, not blind affirmation.
Yes.
Because blind affirmation, if you do that we did a study in this in the 80s, if you actually blindly affirm someone with schizophrenia, it will lead to suicide 99% of the time. Because the voices in their head eventually turn violent. You don't lean into a mental disorder. You provide the resources and support to bring them out of it.
If somebody wants to continue this conversation or hear more from you, read your works, where do they go?
You should go to dailysignal.com and look up my work. Or if you're sadistic, you can head over to Twitter and follow me at The Tonus.
And the host of the Tony Kennett Show.
Always forget that part. Yeah, the Tony Kennett Show is on Saturdays on WIBC from 1 to 3 p.m.
Tony, thank you.
Thanks, guys.
We got another hour to go. Light this candle up, baby. We're coming right back. It's the Hammer and Nigel Show.
Hey, Casey.
Yeah.
How would you feel if you